This episode of Limit Break Radio is made possible by our generous Patreon donors, including Etsua Matsurugi of Cactar, Torquin Ratherdashing of Balmung, and Eldon Faircloud of Leviathan. Thank you so much for your support. If you want to support Limit Break Radio, visit patreon.com/limitbreakradio.
Live from Eorzea.
Limit Break Radio. With your hosts, Unmiro.
Now behold the horror you have wrought.
Kahlo.
I said don't take your clothes off.
Juxtaposition.
I don't get it.
Ascalia.
Holy shit, totally forgot about him.
And Mika.
Oh my god.
LimitBreakRadio.com.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Limit Break Radio.
A radio resalted.
Maybe.
Yeah.
This may be. Strap in, guys. It may be a rough, bumpy ride today. Because we've got some information from TGS to go over. And
To rage over.
not all of it is exciting. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us live on twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio. Can't thank you enough. If this is your first time hanging out with us, thank you so much. If it's not, welcome back. And I'm going to welcome myself back since
Welcome back.
none of you guys
Hi.
are.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
Missed you.
I hope you enjoyed your vacation.
Yeah, such a vacation. Such a vacation. No, I had a great time. I had a great time hanging out in Chicago, and doing the whole Riot Fest thing. Didn't meet any LBR listeners. I know that there was a few people that said that they were going to be out and attending Riot Fest this year. But unfortunately,
I feel like all of our listeners thought that was some League of Legends thing.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I guess I could understand the mistake, but no, Riot Fest was a blast, man, and glad to be back. Glad to be doing the show, and of course we are live from Eorzea. Let's kick it over into our studios, and I just have to say we are very lucky to be live
in the studio.
in the studio today. Yes. So let me tell you guys about my week. Okay.
Story time. Gather around the campfire.
Dude.
Hold hands.
It's
Hold dicks.
It's insane. It's insane.
I don't have one of those.
Then figure it out.
I'll try.
Oh man, I just realized something, that I muted only the background music and not all of the sounds on my client.
Wow, you are really bad at this today.
No, come on, you got to come.
A week off does this to you?
Yeah, seriously.
Oh yeah. It's the week off. That's what it was.
Well, I mean, we definitely didn't have any mic technical difficulties before
we didn't
coming in.
We didn't have any kind of computer problems that have been compounded over weeks upon weeks. Definitely none of that shit. But oh my god! All right, let me start off by telling you guys about my week. So over this past weekend, where when these guys were doing their whole thing,
thing
on the stream,
much better.
While I was out at Riot Fest, I wasn't completely tuned out of Limit Break Radio because I was working with our servers over at DreamHost.com, who are great great, by the way. If you're looking for web hosting, head on over to dreamhost.com. They are fucking awesome. But I was working very closely with them because our website has been continually running into problems. And after a whole lot of investigation and a whole lot of time digging through logs, we have decided, we've discerned, we've been able to figure out, we've been able to deduce that,
You said deuce.
that it has just been because we've seen such a surge in our audience recently, and we have to thank you guys for downloading the show in such huge numbers. But the fact that you were downloading in such huge numbers meant that our hosting plan that we were at, which by the way was a very modestly priced hosting plan, was just simply not getting the job done. It couldn't handle the amount of traffic that you guys were throwing at it, and so we're pleased to announce that we have upgraded our service plan so that the website will experience no downtime any longer. I'm super happy about that. Like our website has been really, really stable since we've gotten this worked out, and so yeah. Now, use the website to your heart's content. Comment. Everything Limit Break Radio will be found at limitbreakradio.com, and it will have 100% uptime from now on. So I really do. That's something that I legitimately feel really bad about, and I do apologize for. You guys should be able to get the episode whenever you want to get it, and not just late at night when the servers aren't slammed with people. So that was something really important to me that we fix, and we got that done. So that I'm really pleased about. But on Wednesday, so I made this post on the website detailing that, and you can check that out now at limitbreakradio.com/blog. But I'd also commented that our hardware issues that we've been dealing with now for 4 weeks seems, as of Monday night, they had seemed to had stabilized, and so I had started to build the computer up, build the system back up for regular use as our streaming computer and as my main gaming computer. And then Wednesday morning, when I go to turn it on, nothing happens. Nothing fucking happens. It just totally died. No fan spun, nothing, just totally dead, no explanation. So I took back every single fucking part, absolutely every single last part, and exchanged all of them, and now this current box is up and running. It's what we're using now. But let me tell you guys, I was setting up the stream up until 12:48. I ran the hardware tests at about 12:50 and then started the stream proper at 1 o'clock. It really came down to the wire to be able to be live from Eorzea here today. So thank you guys, all of you that are in studio and all of you that are watching live at twitch.tv/limitbreakradio. We really appreciate it, and we're definitely really happy that we were able to get our shit in order to be able to be here and be on the show today. So,
and on behalf of everyone in the world, I'd like to personally thank you, Aniro, for putting forth the effort to making sure that we are live from Eorzea. Putting forth the extra hours.
You're
I'm not sure I would trust Juxta to be the voice of everyone.
Yeah, no, I don't. I definitely don't.
I talk to everyone; they agree.
But I do appreciate it, because there was a lot of sweating and anxiety and butthole clenching to be able to get this to work, man.
Oh, the image of that.
Yeah. So anyway, last episode number 30. I was not present for. Juxta, Nika, and Kahlo holding down the fort for that entire episode. But I can't consider it canon, guys. It's not.
What?
It's not. It was
not the best one.
It's not
canon.
Not a canon episode.
It was really good.
I really tried hard to listen to it, but
probably my best The best show that we've done in LBR.
I don't know about that.
They demoted me to an intern, so I'll agree with you there, Nero. It's not canon.
Not canon. I don't think. Yeah.
Well,
see,
you
2
were
against 1.
No, because see,
The on-air democracy rules.
No.
So, yeah. But by the way, we are.
I was gonna say we're down 2 hosts, so we can't vote right now.
We're down 2 hosts again. God, what is going on here? Yes, we are, of course, lacking the midget, Kahlo.
I was gonna say who?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Kahlo the midget and
Stillwella.
the I don't know, Boy Wonder number 6.
Number 6. The living number.
Yeah, the living number. There you go. That's a good sideshow name for him.
Living number.
Anyway, no Scalia with us again this week. Although I'm happy to say that we will be a full crew next week. Apparently, I don't want to oversell this. I don't want to oversell this or make promises.
Don't
but I'm
jinx
told.
it.
I'm told. Oh yeah, exactly. But I'm told that next week we should have a full crew. Meaning,
actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna take my vacation.
Fuck you.
That day.
No. But meaning that next week, Limit Break Radio should be preceded by a Final Encounter cast. And boy, do we have a lot to talk about for Final Encounter cast. Oh my God.
I know. Super Mario Maker. Such a great game. We're gonna talk. That's gonna be the whole show. So stay tuned.
It's not.
I've actually heard a lot of good about it.
I actually have heard a lot of good things about it, but I'm not playing it.
It's really good.
I'm definitely not playing it. As of September 1st, all of my focus has been devoted to my console, which has been nice because my PC would have. I mean, if I had bought Metal Gear Solid 5 for my PC, man, oh boy, I would have been.
You would have been sad.
I would have been a sad man. But yeah, so we got a lot to talk about in terms of Final Encounter cast. We also have a lot to talk about in terms of Final Fantasy 14.
Really?
Yeah, well, there's things.
Do we?
I don't know. How much did you have to talk about last week, guys? You made that work for
lot.
3 hours
Yeah,
somehow.
we did.
Yeah, it's
because you made it up. Because you made it up.
That was the episode.
Yeah.
How much shit can we make up?
Well,
and we make up lots of shit.
And now you have your answer.
The shit flows from our mouths.
Now you have your answer as to why it's non-canonical.
No, it's because
non-canonical.
Your headcanon doesn't mean anything. It is on the website. The website is the best.
I tried to listen to it. I've listened to bits and pieces of it, but I find myself tuning out of it very quickly.
There's no way it was that bad.
It was the best.
You guys need some work.
It was really good. It was like my day off because I didn't have to worry about drops or callers.
I'm just saying that like my presence, the lack of me, that
was really good. I agree.
It was felt.
It was refreshing.
Was it?
It was.
I don't know. Audience, was it? Let me know.
Well, I guess it wasn't Refresh because that bombed horribly.
Oh,
you like that one?
That was a good one. I'll give you that one.
Where the fuck? I'm looking for it. There it is.
Shots fired.
Yeah. But the drop is undercut when you go. Where the fuck?
I know. Well, I had to enhance it with that because it was taking too long.
Yeah, you didn't enhance it. Actually, it took away from it.
No, you took away from your stupid face.
Over-explaining is double taking away from it.
That's super enhancement.
Wait, let's move on.
Anyway, so okay, so hey guys, remember last week where we had that neat little production soundbite for the news? We've got that again. So hey, that's coming. Shut the fuck up.
This is a Limit Breaking News Update.
Was that enough of a cue for you?
Yeah.
Could you read that cue?
I wish I could hear it. I have no idea what it is.
Well, go back and listen to the show.
Yeah, go listen to the show.
I had to do it last week.
It's
hard. Yeah, I got through like 40 minutes of that thing and I was out. I was done.
Ouch.
See, but yet you have no idea what that sounds like. All right, let's talk about some Final Fantasy 14 news here. Of course, the Tokyo Game Show had its own live letter, and
Boy, did they say stuff there.
There are things they talked about.
They said
things
more than the anniversary letter said.
Which is depressing. But not very hard.
Yeah, they did. They really set the bar very low for themselves. So we have a due date for patch
No real date.
Oh my god!
Just the due date.
Within 10 days of November.
Jesus, did you even try?
Oh my god!
Don't in within 10 days of November minus points.
Wow! What the fuck happened? What happened?
I don't know, but this better be a double-sized patch since they promised us the same amount of updates schedule.
This is, honest. This is unacceptable. This is. I mean, okay, I get. Yeah, they took a vacation. They took a break. Fine, I get it. They needed some time off. All right, but when I take a vacation, I get fucking 3 days. Okay, I don't. What was their
3 months.
vacation? Yeah. What the fuck was their vacation? What? Did they take literally no break between 2.0 and launching 3.0, and then they just decided, okay, we're going to take a break after 3.0 launches?
I've heard things that to the effect of Yoshi and hell of his crew was running like 60 to 80-hour work weeks.
Oh, well.
During 2.0. So, a vacation, sure, is warranted, but okay, you're taking like a week maybe? That shouldn't push out the whole patch 2 months, you know?
Yeah. I totally agree. I mean, I really, do you lose that much development time when you take like a week off?
I mean, it shouldn't. I mean, if you take a week off, you should be pushed back 1 week.
Did they
right?
close the entire 18th floor for a fucking week? Like what? Did nobody come into work?
I don't know. I feel like it'd be more.
Come on, man.
It'd be, if you're working, then you should like have like people take off like breaks, like have these 2 people take off this week, then these 2 people, and like stagger the vacation so you're still working.
So if the devs get to take time off, does that mean that we get to take time off as a show since they're giving us shit to talk about?
Does that give permission for the players to just unsub for a while?
Yeah.
Like, is that what they want?
Yeah.
We can take a break too?
No, that's the reason. That's the reason why this is an actual problem. Is because they're going to see some sub bleed from this. And you know, the fact that they just hit 5 million not that long ago and they're pacing with WoW at this point, I think that was a really, really dumb time to take a vacation. Okay, fine, a vacation may be warranted. That was a really dumb time to take it.
Or at least do like what they always do, where they say, okay, we're going to push out patch 3.1, but not everything is coming in 3.1. 3.15 will introduce the free company airship bullshit or something.
Yeah. And you know what? It's probably going to be like that anyway.
It probably will.
I wouldn't doubt it.
That's the shittiest part, is that, yeah, we're probably going to get this patch in 2 chunks, or like there's going to be a part missing, or a new system that's missing right out of the gate that we get at a 3.15 or whatever. And that shit is, dude, this is wearing on me thin.
Actually, you know what? To be fair, I think everything they announced in this live letter will be in 3.1 because Free Company Airship, they said item level 210 will be dropping, so they have to push it out this one to make sure it's relevant. They said that they're going to add a challenge log for Lords of Verminion, and that's going to be pushing out this patch. And then they said that they're going to introduce Void Arc this patch, and they can't introduce it the big hitter in 3.15. So I think
I heard they might push the relic thing to 3.15 though.
Yeah, definitely.
That's annoying.
That would be so terrible. It's literally quests. How can you push back quests?
Because that was the week of vacation they took, is the week that it took to plan quests.
The quest
But it makes you wonder, like, if they're working 80-hour work weeks, shouldn't they just like hire double the amount of people that, like, for each person they have working 80 hours, just hire someone else and then everyone can work 40 hours? Like, isn't that how that works? Like, why don't they just expand their team a little bit?
Am I misunderstanding something about Japanese culture, or isn't an 80-hour work week a light work week? Like, I thought that was that's like a light to average, like, oh, you get a little bit so you get some time off, you get some lunches in there too. Am I misunderstanding something here?
A couple hours to sleep here and there.
Yeah, exactly. I just thought that was a cultural norm. Or am I being culturally insensitive?
Wow.
No, I don't think 80-hour work weeks is normal anywhere unless you're working in like a sweatshop somewhere.
Yeah.
Arigato, racist.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and tell that to the people who assemble PlayStation 4s because they'll tell you it's a normal work week.
Oh my gosh.
But
we like these people who are making our game. We want them to be happy.
Yeah,
I don't want them to die of overexertion. Like then we'll have no game.
That's true. Although, but honestly, I mean, like setting all the hyperbole aside, what is that? That really leaves like not that much to do. Like what?
For another 7 weeks?
Yeah, how are players really supposed to fill that time?
Yeah, like I understand if they're saying, oh, not enough people have finished Savage 4, but the thing is like when that's the only thing you can do, and it's actually really hard, and even my group is getting burnt out on just like how much, like we make maybe a few seconds into the fight progress every day that we, it's like, oh, we get to the next part where we can move this thing, and then we die, and then like every day we get like 5 seconds progress into the fight, and it's just so much burnout that like what are we supposed to do? Log in, cap our ESO tomes, like I mean it's just, and for the people who aren't hardcore rating, they have nothing to do.
Yeah, and I think that's really the unfortunate thing. But like I think that actually kind of lends some credibility to the theory that Alex Savage was introduced to be artificially hard to keep the community smashing their face against it because they knew that there wasn't going to be content until November.
Wasn't when it was relevant, wasn't the first turn of Coil like kind of the hardest one in terms of smashing your face against it?
No.
You mean like T1?
No. He's T5. No, you're talking in the spread.
The whole
in
raid.
the spread between T5, T9, and T13.
Yeah,
T9 was the hardest, I would say. Okay. Nika, do you want to back me up on that? I would say T9 overall was the most challenging.
Yeah, probably just because it had the most, it was like the longest fight in terms of the kind of mechanics you had to do, and there was a lot of instant wipe mechanics in T9.
Although I will say that I think the community struggled a little bit more with T5. Only because
it was the first one, like
yes, well, and only because we as a community were learning, sussing out the finer points of not only just like best in slot gear, but optimal rotations and and other things like mechanics aside. There were other the endgame community was still putting together a lot of their core theories when T5 was really the only content to do. But I would say in the grand scope of things, I would say that they designed T9 quite harder than even 13.
Okay.
Yeah, but now you look. I mean, my group is on A3, and that's ridiculously hard. And we're just like, what's the point of bashing our faces into this for a few seconds of progress when in the next patch we're gonna get 210 gear anyway? Like, it almost makes us not care. Like before, we're like, yeah, we want to clear everything while it's relevant, but now it's almost like, what's the point?
Yeah, let's take a second to talk about the gear. But I did just kind of want to finish the point of the November due date here. Like that's a huge spread of time to make your player base wait. And again, I'm really concerned for server populations, for player enthusiasm at this point. I mean, dude, even a lot of the like heavy hitter streamers are like, dude, there's nothing to do. Mm-hmm. Happy's fucking off playing Guild Wars 2. Joe's playing ESO.
Elder Scrolls,
yeah. I mean, like
he's pulling better numbers while playing Elder Scrolls than he is 14.
Totally. I mean, it's unfortunate, and my message here to Square-Enix, because I know you're listening, is you're gonna bleed your talent out of your community. I mean, yeah, fine, take your break, but understand what that break means for your community and means for not just the talented people, but the regular ass players of this game. There are people who are gonna unsub. There are people who are gonna bail because seven more weeks of waiting when I was bored of this 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, that's fucking unacceptable. It's not acceptable.
It's just like repeat of the 2.5 to 3.0.
Yeah.
Huge lull, and we're having it again.
Yeah. And that's a great point. We just had a lull that big.
It's actually kind of kind of worrying. Are we going to have another lull from 3.1 to 3.2?
Especially because they promised us we would have the same type of update schedule, and then and we all kind of forgave them for the lull between the story and between 2.5. Because 2.55 had a good amount of story, so we all kind of forgave them while they were preparing for the expansion. But to do it again right after they promised us we'd have the same 3-month patch wait is a little disheartening.
It is. It really is. Honestly, putting aside all of the overblown anger about it, it really is. I'm really concerned about this.
Yeah, and I was thinking what the time frame was from the start of 2.0 into 2.1, and I was thinking maybe they're repeating that from way back before, but that period from 2.0 to 2.1 was 112 days. And if they keep that November 10th schedule, that's going to be 140 days. That's like
a whole month extra.
Yeah.
Well, and you know what? They had a lot to prove with 2.0. And I feel I don't know, I feel like they've kind of they're sitting back on their haunches and letting themselves
get complacent.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but it's something close to that. It's something very close to that. And it's concerning and it's dangerous. And Square Enix, man, come on, get it together.
WoW does the same thing where they're okay, well, you're going to play the game anyway, so we don't really need to push content as fast as we do. And then they have years between patches sometimes for that last patch between the next expansion. You can't do that.
Yeah, but the thing is MMO players will go to another game for those 7 weeks, and that's enough time to get invested.
Yeah, another MMO. Yeah,
totally. And it really is concerning. They've been so good about this up until now, and I cannot tell you how disappointed I was to hear that it's going to be due in November. That is very disheartening.
It doesn't speak well for the future of the game.
No. Unless they come out in the next couple of weeks and say, look, there's going to be a part 2 and it's going to have this, and this, and it's shit that we haven't told you about
blows
yet.
Our minds.
Yeah,
that's the thing. If they had something new and exciting and that makes us want to play again, that's one thing. But what do we have? We have Lords of Vermilion, which nobody asked for.
Right.
And we have go kill mobs on islands.
You know what? I think that's
might be the coolest thing, though.
It will be. But the thing is that I just kind of realized this. I wasn't even that excited for 3.1 anyway. I was looking at the Void Ark shit and the island hopping and all of that. And I was really underwhelmed with what we were getting anyway. And now to find out that we have to wait 7 weeks to fucking get something that I'm underwhelmed by anyway?
That's bad.
It's not good. It's not good. Why am I only looking forward to now 3.2 or information that what are we
3.2? We're looking past 3.1 because we're not even caring that much about 3.1 and now we're looking to 3.2 already.
I guess it really depends on the island thing. I think that has a lot of potential. Unless it turns into a Claymore, which it could. But Void Ark is not going to be very difficult, and so for people who are bored of Savage or have cleared it or this is stupid, I want something else that's fun, endgame, we're getting nothing. So I don't know. So it's already we have to wait another 3 months, 5 months before the next one. But really, what makes me want to keep playing at this point?
That's the thing. With this island hopping thing, all you're doing is doing it for the gear, for glamour. It doesn't sound new or exciting and fun. I don't want to play this.
Okay, so let's talk about the gear for a second because Mika, you had said that it's going to drop 210 gear. They're going to be pink gear, ethereal gear.
Yeah, ethereal pink stuff.
So what do you feel like that's going to mean for the gear distribution? Because we have been talking that Square Enix needs to add more end game gear, but I don't think our point was that there needed to be more that's pooled at the top at around 210, but that there needed to be gear that was very difficult to get that outclassed that set. That was more, at least that's what I had in mind. That would end up being closer to status gear and also have, a big stat bonus with it too. Adding 210 gear with like kind of randomized secondary stats, I don't know that I don't know that actually adds more interest in getting the gear. I think that takes away from interest from people wanting to do raids. That's what I think. It's gonna,
My group is already feeling that, like with Savage being so hard, or we just don't have the gear for it yet, or something. No matter how much research we do into it, we barely make any progress. And my entire group's burnout. We're like, oh, maybe we can do like coil again for funsies because we're so bored, and at least we can clear that. And so it's like it's serious. I'm so serious. My group is talking about that, and they're like, okay, well, this is going to drop 210 gear. The secondary stats are going to be random, but it doesn't really matter about best in slot necessarily, because unless we have some kind of end game event that requires 210 gear, having 210 gear is just to show off at this point. So even if I end up with a tank piece, it's going to have the 210 vitality, it's going to have the 210 strength. Maybe I end up with like dex and skill speed or something stupid, but who cares, because what event do I even need 210 gear for at this point anyway?
Well, presumably also with 3.1, we're going to be able to take our ESO gear and upgrade it to 210.
Yes, we will.
So I mean, not only that's another factor is that everyone's already going to be.
You can already do that with the.
Oh, can you?
Yeah. Alexander Savage drops coats and twines and shit, just like the old coil used to.
Okay. So, well, what I mean is that is going to be input in like. They're going to put that either into Void Arc or as a reward from...
I'm sure they will. They'll do like some kind of weekly thing where you can choose one. Like they did
right. My point is that you can't get the ESO upgrade items unless you're raiding.
Right. Well... Yeah. Yeah, or
no, they're going to put it into hunts again. Just watch.
Well, yeah, no, they will, but right now it is a current active reason to keep raiding, right? So okay, all right. So they're gonna normalize that. They're gonna put that out into into the general population. So people are gonna be getting 210 items anyway. They're also gonna be getting these 210 ethereal items. I mean, like I feel like that's really this is just catch up gear. It's not. None of it is going to really outclass rating gear because all of you guys are going to be looking forward to 3.2 and what you're going to be getting out of Alexander Savage in 3.2.
I guess you could need the 210 gear for doing the island free company hopping because those mobs are supposed to be like the super hard ones,
right?
Like,
maybe. I mean, I hope so. Honestly,
I mean, yeah, that would be great. But
some of it might be catch-up gear. The extremely lucky people are going to end up with BIS ethereal gear just by the luck of the draw.
But I guess, Nika, my question is like, do you feel like it's like adding the 210 ethereal gear to this island hop system? Do you feel like that's poisoning the well for trying to entice players into doing raid?
Yeah, like my group cares. My group has always cared about like not being world first, but about clearing content while it's relevant. My group doesn't care right now at all. They're like, there's no point. 210 gear is coming. We can just wait. This is too hard and stupid. We'll wait until we can outgear it and go back and do it later.
But isn't it almost exactly the same as when they added the upgrade items to hunts, and then everyone was doing hunts to be able to get eye level gear that was on par with the rating gear? Like, isn't it really just the same thing? So for 3.1, we're going to catch everyone up to 210, and you'll have these pink slot, some of these pink items, and yeah, some of them might be useful. A lot of them might be garbage. Anyone remember the Evolith system from FF11? It very well could be as shitty as the Evolith system. So let's prepare ourselves here.
I don't think anything could be as shitty as the Evolith system.
All right, that may be a good point. But the thing is that like at that point, 210 gear is. It's really not that relevant anyway. And I what I have been saying for a while is that I would love to see a set of gear that outclasses the 210 or whatever the standard is that's super difficult to get, that you can only get out of like an RNG.
That only drops from the H&Ms on the FC island hopping.
Or whatever, like some kind of challenging content. You know, like that's what I like. So I don't know that it's going to poison the well for interest in raids, Nika. I think that anyone who wants that 210 gear is working at raiding probably right now, or is going to be getting into it in the near future. They've got 7 more weeks to decide whether or not they want to get into it or not. You know what I mean?
It's true. It's just that it's so, like, even the jump between, like, Alexander Savage 2 is a lot of fun, actually. But as soon as you get into 3, just the jump and, like, how stupid the mechanics are and how the big gear checks in them are, like, it's hard to care.
I am told that Alex Savage 3 is breaking raid statics left and right.
It's stupid. Like, our group's not breaking, they're just burnout. It's completely burnout. And it's stupid how much the jump in it is. And I don't know. I can't see that. Like, yeah, people start to raid, they get through 1 and 2, they get to 3, and they're like, well, we'll be able to get 210 in the next patch. Let's not worry about this.
I have a question, Nika. Do you think that already having the story given to you through normal mode is making you guys burn out faster?
Yeah, I do, actually, because my group was talking about, all right, let's legitimately think about the reasons we're continuing to raid this right now. And it's literally so we can say, I did it. That's like our only reason to keep doing it. There's no story. The gear looks exactly the same. Okay, we can color it a little. And the gear is not that standout. Like, you running around it's not like Dreadware where when someone's wearing it, they're wearing it.
It's not great.
Like, the Alexander gear is very average looking. So we already have the look of it from the normal mode. We have the story. We're getting 210 gear in the next patch. Why do we care?
This is exactly what I was saying when we were talking about in the Get Good episode. This is exactly what the fuck I was saying, guys. It killed interest. I guarantee you, if you looked at the percentage of people who are even attempting to do Alex Savage, it's got to be way down from where it was for Coil, because there was legitimate, like, that carrot on the stick of the story kept me playing. Kept me going. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's one of the most brilliant things about, and again, I hate to do this to you guys, but I think that's one of the most brilliant things about Metal Gear Solid 5 is the way that they structured the story. You want to keep playing. You want to keep going because that structure is fucking perfect. And they undercut themselves by just giving away the story and giving away the basic gear. And it just sucks, man.
You got to make them work for it.
Yeah, and I want to address, quite a few people in the chat are actually saying that my group must be actually super casual more than they thought. That's actually the opposite. What I'm saying is that my group used to be super hardcore, and the way that they ran Coil, we would get upset if we couldn't raid every single day during the week and stay up until 2 a.m. and beat our faces into it, and we wanted to do it so much. Right. And then we were super excited for Savage, and we were, for 1 and 2, we did that. And now that, it's kind of taken away the fun of it for us at this point, and we're like, why bother? It's not that they're casual. It's that, there's not really as much of an enticing reason to keep going as there was with Coil.
Yeah, that's totally. All. No, I totally understand what you mean, Nika. I don't think it's a shift in attitude about being serious about clearing. I think it's a shift in attitude about the desire to clear.
Nika, did your group ever attempt the second Coil Savage mode?
My group couldn't because they couldn't find a reason to, because titles aren't enough for my group to care that much. I tried it. I joined another static and then ended up breaking when somebody quit the game or something. But basically it was the same kind of thing. It was like, the gear is exactly the same. We already have all of that second Coil gear for 8 of our jobs. Why would we want to do it again? And most of my group just doesn't give a shit about titles. So yeah, and like I said, we're not a world first group, and since obviously people had already cleared it, there wasn't a lot of incentive. I really wanted it because I really want the Avatar title, but there's not really any reason to do it.
It's not incentivized properly.
It's the same thing with Alex Savage.
It's just I'm going to go back to hammering this point. It's not incentivized properly. The entire gear structure, the end game structure that they've put in place is fair. That's what I will give it. It's fair. It's fair to all the players because you don't get this elite class of players that have crazy gear that outclasses everyone else, and then they form their own insular circle. I get that that's what they were trying to avoid. And what they've implemented is fair for everyone, but it sucks. It takes away people's desire to want to continue grinding for things.
Yeah.
It sucks. It's a bad system. It's a bad loot system. It's a bad progression system.
Now, I have a question. Before your group, Nika, before they knew about the pink 210 gear, were they already getting burned out from just A3 Savage?
A little bit, simply because of how much we've been practicing and how little progress we make every time. And especially because someone in my group just had a baby and, they want to spend all the time with their baby. And they're like, why would I take time? They're like, why would I take time away from my family when we're literally going to make 2 seconds of progress every night? I mean, after raiding for 2 hours, what's the point? So it kind of was simply because the jump between, Alexander Savage 2 was a lot of fun. Like, the mechanics are a lot of fun. I think we spent a pretty reasonable amount of time learning the mechanics and clearing it, and we were pretty proud of ourselves, and we felt that we enjoyed it. Then as soon as you get to 3, it's like, all right, we're going to bash our heads into it for 3 hours and make, this much tiny steps of progress.
And that's fine. And that's fine though. But like, I do agree, Nika, that they killed their incentive for a lot more people that would be into it, that would want to see it for the story.
Yeah, it's kind of like as soon as they announced the ethereal gear, it was kind of like the icing on the cake. It's like we're already burned out, and now that we know what we're getting in 3.1, it's like,
why try?
Bother?
Yeah. I understand that. I definitely understand that. I really do think that they have an incentive problem, and that they haven't addressed it at all. They haven't addressed it at all, and I don't think that enough people are talking about it or thinking about it. But they really do. They have a progression problem that is not going away unless they decide. And here's the other thing that I'm bummed out about too, is that this new gear that's going to come from the island hopping event is just recolored versions of fucking coil gear.
But to be fair, people asked for that.
I know.
They wanted the gear color.
Here's the thing, though. They should have kept that for fucking coil. There's no reason to do coil either.
That's true.
Design new gear for your new shit, and if you want to do recolors, put that in your old shit. Now they're just cutting corners on development. I'm calling them out on that. They just don't want to design another fucking armor set, is what it is.
How does it take 5 months if they're just recoloring old gear? I don't know.
No,
this is bullshit.
I'm gonna call you out on that, because if they put the recolored high Allegan gear back in back in Coil 2, then you'd be bitching at Square-Enix saying, hey, now I have to go back to Coil 2 to get the new stuff.
I've been bitching at Square-Enix to give me a reason to go back to do Coil. Everyone,
I don't think as
more
many
players,
people would
everyone, the community needs a reason to go back to doing coil.
Because you can do it unsynced and super capped or whatever low party, and it's not that hard. Like you can go back and do T6 super easily. Like
Totally.
So I don't think people would bitch that much.
But people, you know what? People are still there's still a large section of this community that hasn't cleared coil that would love the opportunity for that event to be a little bit more populated so that they could queue for it or reliably try to clear it a little bit more often.
You know what they should do?
Because it never happens. It's never in Party Finder. That's the problem.
You know what they should do is they should add weapons or gear to Steps of Faith, Chrysalis, all those trials that nobody ever wants to do. They should have instantly dropped from.
They should have done that from the start.
From the start, sure, but now they definitely need to do that.
Totally. I agree, man. I mean, I really do. I feel like there's a lot of cut corners here, and that's disappointing. That's not what I want to see coming right off of 3.0, man.
All right, and speaking of cutting corners and shit, we have Siren's Dark Winter of Fairy wanting to talk about the lull.
Siren, how's it going? Welcome to Limit Break Radio.
Actually, it's Cryant.
Nice job there, Juxta.
It was a C.
C makes the K sound.
Yeah, sometimes
K's do.
No, oh my god.
Do I need to teach you kindergarten, Juxta?
It's
just
okay,
like my kindergartners.
It's okay, Siren. You misspelled your name, but I'll forgive you this time.
All right. Anyway, Cryant, thanks for calling Limit Break Radio. What do you want to talk about today?
Actually, there's a couple other things, because there's one big, huge elephant in the room when I think about this, is that the 3.1 patch is supposed to be coming out in November, and here's my thought on it. There is one huge game supposed to be coming out, and they're saying it's going to be coming in around 10 days into November. And there is one that's really bugging me because, well, I think there's a certain game from Bethesda supposed to be coming out on the 10th.
Do you really think that they're trying to pull people away from Fallout?
I don't know, but I don't know if they're going to do a very good job about it.
No, they're not. They're going to do a terrible job. If they are, that's a good theory, Cryant. That's a good theory because they've done this shit in the past, right? We know that they did this with 1.0. They pushed 1.0 out to be able to compete with a WoW expansion. Okay, so it would not surprise me in the least that they would adjust a release schedule for content to try to counter the release of another game. But it's stupid. It's a really bad idea because, first of all, honestly, if that's their move, what do they think they're gonna accomplish by doing that? I can't even imagine what they would try to accomplish.
I feel like the people who would stop playing Fallout when it comes out to play Final Fantasy XIV's new patch does not overlap with those people.
No. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, there's no audience overlap there. Not to say that FF14 players won't play Fallout, Of course they will.
No, but I mean if the new game comes out, you're going to play the new game.
Yeah.
And you're going to play maybe an hour or two of the patch.
Just like Metal Gear Solid. Yeah,
they're going to try to pull people away from MGO.
Man, I don't know.
For the PS4, MGO's dropping end of October, right? So I feel like if a lot of people are going to be spending a lot of their time on that, even just the single player mode, I haven't barely logged on 14 as it is, except for raiding.
Yeah. So, see, I've been logging into capped homes when I can, when my
I haven't capped in 3 weeks.
When my fucking hardware functions, but then I immediately log off and I go play MGS5. That's what I've been doing since the first, when it came out.
Yeah, so when MGO comes out, that's where my time's going to be.
And that's exactly what the die-hard Fallout fans are going to do. And I sincerely hope that's not what would hold up the content. It's like I said, Crying, it's an interesting theory. I don't know that I totally agree with it, but if it is what they're doing, it's a fucking stupid move.
Well, if you actually look at the November lineup for games, good lord.
Yeah, maybe they are trying to compete, and they know that if they drop the patch earlier, then all those games will come out in November, and they're going to have to wait another couple months for their next patch. So maybe.
I don't know.
It's all conspiracy theories, so just put your tinfoil hat on and just...
The tinfoil hat episode was last week, okay?
Thanks for the call, Cryant. We appreciate it. And interesting theory. Not sure how much weight I would put behind it, but yeah, the tinfoil hat conspiracy theories. It's possible, man. I mean, they've done this shit in the past, and I wouldn't put it past them to do something like that. But goddamn,
I mean, if November really is that big of a month for new games, I guess it makes sense because you don't want to push it out.
If you push it out too early and then 3 or 4 new games come out, everyone's going to jump ship.
You've already done the stuff and you're like, whatever, I'm going to want to play this new game. Versus if it just comes out, you want to do all the new stuff. So,
but that's the thing is that speaking as someone who had, there are a couple of titles coming out in November that I do want to play. I would much rather have my patch precede that so I can work on shit for the patch and get that out of the way.
Exactly.
So I can play the new shit that's coming out in November.
Yes, but that's from a player standpoint.
That is
from the business standpoint, maybe it's better to try to compete.
I don't know. I honest to God, I don't know. I don't know. It's possible, but I can't see the play there. That's the thing. I can't see the business decision. I can't see the business play there where that's a smart idea, especially because you're not selling anyone on a new product. You're not moving boxes. You're not moving units. You're pushing content to a player base that is supposed to be sticking with you.
And really, if you want them to experience the content you have, play for 2 weeks and then stay subscribed, but then play other games so they're not clogging up your servers as badly.
Yeah, that's another good point. But also, there's this real thing where when a patch drops and somebody feels that they're too behind on content, whether they haven't caught up on capping ESOs or whatever that weekly reset is,
the Kala syndrome.
It just you totally just get demotivated and you're like, fuck it, I'm out until next patch, because you know that the next patch the gear is going to be outdated and irrelevant anyway.
Well, maybe that's why it's taking so late. They're like, we're going to make sure everyone gets all their ESO gear and all their Alex gear before we drop the patch, so nobody feels like they're behind.
Boo. Boo. It's a bad reason. It's a bad reason. All right. There was a lot more detailed in the TGS live letter changes.
Something very important.
Yeah, of course.
Moodra lag.
Yeah.
They're going to make some changes to the programming to make the usage smoother.
Well, that's good.
No, that is good.
Yeah,
Moodra lag is
I know
bad.
that's been a complaint of yours.
Yeah, well, guess what? I don't believe it. They've said they're changing Moodra lag before, and I haven't seen a difference. So I'll see it when I feel it.
Well, we'll see it. Yeah. Well, I don't know. And you had to go as far as to get what, like a VPN to be able to try to cut down on your Moodra lag?
Yeah.
Did it work?
It did.
It
It worked really good.
Oh, okay.
My DPS went up like 150.
Oh, wow.
Except now the VPN's like, hey, so a lot of people are using our shit for free, so now you have to pay for it, and there's no free option.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm like, well, subpar DPS once more.
Oh, that sucks. Well, hopefully this will fix the problem, because you shouldn't have to figure out a VPN option to be able to play your job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like
a core game mechanic.
and it's specific to your job. It's specific to one job.
It makes me not want to be ninja because I can't be the best.
Oh man.
Not because
Come to the monk's side.
No, fuck that.
Join us.
Way too much effort.
Join us.
So apparently the main storyline quest will revolve around the Warrior of Darkness, which we saw teased at the end of the 3.0 storyline, and the continuation of the Dragon Song War storyline. That was pretty obvious.
Yeah, I'd hope so.
No mention at all of the school side quests that they have been talking about. No mention at all of anything related to Hildebrand. Nothing.
That's true.
Well, we don't know for sure that they will put in Hildebrand. They said they will if the demand is there. I don't know. I assume they will, but I don't think it needs to be now.
Should be. No mention. This is actually more important because that stuff's like side stuff.
Yeah.
No mention of the Sultana or Telegia. No.
But I'm sure that will be. That's already resolved, sort of.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Not
Okay,
even
it's not.
close.
But at the end of the credits from before, you see her like welcoming back Ishgard. I feel like it'll be part of it. Like it's part of the Dragon Song.
Yeah. I would.
If the nations are all involved in the war, it'll be part of it.
I would say that's part of that
I think
storyline.
they're not going to specifically tell you that because that's kind of spoilery.
Okay,
they're just going to let it play out.
I'm just saying, I don't think that's part of the Dragon Song War. I feel like all that stuff. No, the Sultana's just not part of the Dragon Song War.
As of right now, with the way that like Nidhogg was at the end, it's like the continuing of the war with Nidhogg still being around. So
Right.
I think that as the nations, now that Ishgard is part of Eorzea as like union nations once again, like they're all gonna have to band together to fight.
Something I never thought of, and this would be kind of, I think, an interesting narrative thing, is what if Nidhogg starts, since the Warrior of Light is from the rest of Eorzea, not just from Ishgard. What if Nidhogg starts attacking the three nations?
That would bring them into the Dragon Song War.
That definitely would, wouldn't it?
Except that Nidhogg's sole purpose is revenge against Ishgard.
Yeah,
So,
except
cutting out his eyeballs.
Except we just
killed him.
And he's back.
And he's back. And he's pissed.
Yeah. Well, he's also
that's true.
he's also Estinian, and you don't know what kind of bullshit Estinian harbored against us. Yeah, I mean, like, we don't know how he felt.
I think he's just a vessel. I don't think that's actually like him.
Well, but you don't know what kind of influence that would have over his actions. But I think Nidhogg attacking, because I mean, really, all the dragon attacks, they always happen in Korthus against Ishgard.
Right.
I think it'd be interesting if the scope opened up and the threat started to exist in the rest of Eorzea.
Oh my gosh, what if Estinian is like in Nidhogg's head right now, and Nidhogg wants to like hurt Estinian because he's like in his head and stuff, and so Nidhogg starts targeting Estinian's friends, aka us, to get at Estinian.
Well, I think he'd still want to get at us for killing him in the first place.
Yeah, that's
Well, I'm
true
just
too.
saying, it would make more sense.
Fun theory crafting. So there's going to be one more live action Fate on October 25th in Hiroshima.
Or we'll apparently hear more information about the patch, apparently.
Oh, you know, I've heard this promise before. I've heard that promise before.
I mean, what's going to suck is we're not going to hear an actual release date until October 25th. And then that's already like, what, a week or two away. I don't know why they can't just tell us now when the date will be exactly.
It doesn't matter. Just assume the 10th. The 10th, the 10th
did
is
they
a Tuesday.
actually say within 10 days, though?
They said within 10
watch it be
days.
the end of November.
No, Jux is
because
right.
they
It's
wanted
the
to
10th.
make quality content. They're going to push it till the end of November.
Is that really what they said?
I think no.
Okay.
But I think I don't know.
I was gonna say if that was really the bullshit that they tried to pass off. I mean, okay,
That's
vacation.
what a lot of games have done though. Like, oh, we know we told you the beginning of this month, but because we feel like this content isn't quite ready, or maybe they'll say like, oh, we wanted to make sure we include the relic in this one, so we're pushing the content. You know, I could totally see them doing that.
Konami released an unfinished game, so what the fuck? We're just living in a new age where you don't have to finish the thing that you're making and put it out anymore.
Okay, Aniro, keep the salt on FEC.
I know. Yeah.
You're a Nero right now. You're not.
I know.
Nate.
I know.
Okay?
I know. I'm trying to.
We're in an age of video games where companies release unfinished games and then charge you for it,
Which is
And I feel
unacceptable.
like, especially since we're paying a sub to this game for them. Like, we already give them way more money than a DLC would be anyway.
Totally.
That I feel like they should, pay more attention and do it right. But
Totally.
I'm sorry. I thought it was garbage.
I'd honestly, I would rescind my sub if it wouldn't fuck up my, what is it?
The show we do?
No, the rewards.
Oh, veteran rewards.
The veteran rewards, yeah.
Yeah, you got to get that cloud outfit.
I already have it.
Oh, you do?
I got the.
I'm wearing the pants, by the way. I legit glamored the pants because they actually look pretty good.
Oh,
so.
cloud pants.
Cloud pants. Yeah.
Get out of here.
Anyway, so they announced a few things about Void Ark, which is basically it's going to be Crystal Tower 2.0.
Literally, it's going to be the exact same.
But hopefully, but there's still hopefully going to be a cool story. I want to know how Kate Sith is a part of it and where it goes and like why it was flying around and who knows. All we know is that it's going to be not hard and it's going to be the same as Crystal Tower. But if the story is good, I will be okay with it.
I hope the gear looks cool.
They showed a little bit of gear, didn't they? Or did they just show the ethereal stuff?
I don't know. I hope it looks good. I don't know what it looks like yet.
Yeah. I actually, to be honest, I missed the entire video presentation, and I have not seen any screenshots or video of any of the stuff that was revealed out there. So in terms of like how stuff looks or if they did any walkthroughs on the stream, I did not see any of those.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of it, and it's kind of like black with like light blue trim. It's not super exciting and doesn't really stand out, in other words.
I'm not surprised. Okay, so 3 tanks, 6 healers, 15 DPS, same difficulty, same loot rule. It's the same shit.
But they'll have retro stuff, like bosses from other Final Fantasies.
But this is to come. Does that mean in
Great.
the first update, or what does it mean later iterations?
Well, I can't help but think of that quote that Yoshi P said that they wanted to design a raid entirely unique to FF14. And does that mean that you're just going to just jack shit from other games? Is that what you consider unique to FF14?
I thought that was the airship island jumping thing. I thought that was the unique thing.
No. They said he had said that raid.
That was so long ago. I feel like they just remade that.
They may have just
they're like, you know what?
Fuck it.
They really like having retro shit, so let's just give them this retro bullshit.
God damn it.
I like some of that though. Like, let's see. So bosses to come in the future, like I could totally see them having like, I don't know, like one of the big. But then again, all the stories of other Final Fantasies, the bosses have to do with those particular stories. Like how we had World of Darkness as a boss, or like Cloud of Darkness. She was really cool. So I can see it's like, I don't know, big giant Kefka or something.
Someone in the chat, in the chat had said Ozma for the final boss of Void Ark.
We're gonna have,
or maybe like the
Zeomus.
Black Waltz, Black Mage things. Those would be cool to fight. From FF9?
I just
No.
Do we just have to cannibalize things from other Final Fantasy games? Can we just not have something that is
Okay, you get your previous Final Fantasy shit with Alexander, okay? That's your non-canon stuff. So now we get callbacks and the easy content.
Except the story there is just I'm not even
it's so bad.
Not into the story.
I don't even understand I liked the original premise of it's this Chilean thing sealed under the sea, gonna be so cool, and then you actually enter it and it's like, what's the story again?
Yeah, what the fuck is going on here?
There's gobbies in there, and you have a treasure hunter who shoots things.
Yeah, I thought was going to have a bigger role and didn't.
I mean, you want to tell? I know that we were saying that taking the story out of a challenging raid sort of neutered the desire to get through it, but at the same time, I mean, what they have there for the story isn't that much. Like once people had gotten through that story, they would have been like, oh, this kind of fucking sucks, you know? Like, I mean,
that's why there's normal
it
modes.
wasn't interesting right out from the start.
Yeah, people bitched about not having Coil's story, but the Coil story was good.
It was actually interesting, yeah.
So then they gave us normal mode to give people Alex's story, but nobody gives a shit because Alex's story is dumb.
I'm so bummed out right now. Like, I'm so bummed out about Final Fantasy 14 right now, and I can't hide it is the thing. Like, they outlined exactly everything that we knew that we were going to already get. They didn't drop anything new on us. They didn't even give us a proper release date. I'm so bummed out. I see you guys in the chat. And now I forget your name. Forset getting really upset in the chat. Like, you're bitching about new content. How can you complain about new content? Because it's the same shit that we knew that we've been getting for already fucking weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks.
Yeah, I'm pretty butthurt about it.
It's boring, man. It's fucking boring. And again, I'm gonna go back to saying, like, there's not even that much in 3.1 that I'm looking forward to. So it's 7 weeks that I gotta wait for shit that I'm not even looking forward to. And then how long do I gotta wait until 3.2 when there might be something that I'm interested in?
Another 5 months, maybe?
No, God, don't tease. Don't even joke about that.
Hang on, but there was this very real thing that happened with FF11 where they did used to get quarterly content updates that soon got cut back to 6 months, that soon got cut back even farther than that to a kind of like when we feel like it release schedule.
And the updates were terrible,
and they weren't good. And I would be loathed to see this game turn into that. That was an embarrassment of development that was shoved off on the PS2 limitations for forever. But I don't know that PS2 limitations could claim all of that. I really don't. And I really don't want to see this game devolve into something like that. And you guys can call me Chicken Little all you want, and that I'm saying that the sky's falling. I'm standing by. This does not bode well for the long-term health of this game.
I know. I don't want to agree with you because I still have my faith in the Yoshi that he said he wanted to try new things that may fail, and I believe in him that he will have something new. But as of what we have now, we have yet to see that. And while people are saying, wait till the content's out before you bitch, it's hard to do that when we look at what they say they're giving us, and it is nothing new despite what was promised. Yeah. So, maybe it will come out and it will blow our minds, but as of right now, it's hard to believe that's what's going to happen.
Okay, but I'm going to give Yoshi a little bit of a benefit of the doubt on the airship, Free Company airship, because this is going to be that 24-man content that you're going to want to do, because you don't want to raid, okay, because of the gear, but to get the gear, you're going to have 3 full alliances to take down these big NMs and H&Ms.
I think the airship event is really kind of the only question mark and sort of the only hope that I'm holding out for 3.1 to have some fun.
And there's going to be like multiple different gear sets too, because they just said that the high Allegan Recoil is just one of the multiple gear sets.
You're
so
right.
There could be a lot of glams for me.
It could be the level 1 stuff. Could it be anything, or is it just like I don't know?
they're gonna. I assume they're gonna have like 4 or 5 different sets, and then the whatever glam you get is gonna be random.
See, that's the thing. Whenever Square Enix says random, it always puts a red flag up, because you're right, Nika. Now, yeah, is the design going to be completely random along with some of these secondary stats that are going to be applied? Like, I don't know. I don't know what that statement means.
It could be like, because I think it's up to 210 gear, so I think like 180 gear, 190 gear can also drop.
Yes.
So maybe it's like the 180 gear is one set and the 190 gear is one set.
Well, I'm sincerely...
Or it could be like, I could have the tank piece that's 210 and another tank piece that's 210, and they're both completely different sets.
Well, I'm sincerely hoping that they're going to have, since they have gear set tiers, that they're going to also have NM progression tiers as well, so that the first tier of NMs that you're fighting is going to be dropping the 180 stuff, and then once you're getting to the big bads, that's the kind of stuff that's going to be dropping the 210. And I'd also, I mean, while I'm at it, like, I'd also like to see pop items make a return. That way, you're not just hoping for a certain piece of gear that drops, you're also hoping for the next
spawn to drop.
Exactly, yeah.
I hope that's the way it is, because if it ends up being an open world NM camping, like the first party that gets the claim gets the drop, I'm gonna be so pissed.
If it's hunts in the sky, I'm out. I'm done. I'm not doing it.
I don't think so.
Especially if it's like, they claim it, they get the gear or whatever, that's gonna, encourage botting all over again, and we've moved away from that. So I really hope that's not where they're going with this.
Yeah, me too.
Because, they say it's not instance. You can bump into other parties and alliances while you're up there. So does that mean you're competing, or are you working together, or is it...
I hope that means that you're competing, and I hope that, because they would have to design a claim system along with it, and that's a great way to not have to implement that in an overworld setting.
But I don't want that. I don't want, like, if there is a claim system up there, that means that people are going to be botting all over again, and no one's going to want to do it.
No. Well, but there's ways to get around that. If you have regular mobs, regular high-level hard mobs around there that drop your first pop item, well, hey, you're going to have to farm for 10, 15 minutes before you pop your first NM. I don't think that's unreasonable.
No, that's fine. I'm just thinking it's going to be something like, oh, we hope that Nidhogg spawns in this particular area. Let's sit here and
God, no.
spawn.
No,
I can't see that happening.
They can't. Yeah, they have to have learned that lesson. They went so far as to fix that problem in FF11. I can't imagine that they would make that same mistake in 14. There is someone in that building that would hear that idea and go, wait. Does anyone remember Fafhog? That was a disaster. No, we can't have that. You know what I mean? Like, there's got to be someone in there that would go, no, that's a bad idea.
As long as it works somehow with pop items or something where you're not competing for the exact same mob, then I think it'll be okay.
But I do think that competition is good, but I think if you're going to have competition, it does have to come along with something like a pop system. It really does.
And with regards to the gear, they said that they're going to have 3 different tiers of chests: bronze, silver, and gold chests. And the 110 stuff is going to come from the gold chest.
See, now that makes me a little bit concerned. That makes me a little bit concerned that the gear, that it's the rewards that are randomized as opposed to a tiered progression system. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel like the H&Ms and HMs, NMs are gonna drop those higher tier chests, and I feel like the lower mobs, just the random wandering ones, are gonna drop the bronze chests. So I feel like everyone's expecting just to go in and be like, oh, farm this shit, get 210 gear super quickly. I don't think that's gonna be the case at all.
And I hope not.
I hope not too. Yeah, I think that there's got to be a considerable investment to be able to get that 210 gear. There has to be investment, and there has to be a progression. It has to. But it does. Pop items does introduce a really messy idea of, okay, if you're doing this with a group of randos, who gets that pop item on the end? Yeah,
the way they need to do the pop items is have it be like Abyssia. Have a whole bunch of weak little mobs. When the pop item is rare, so you can have one, but you can sell it in the auction house. So then people can go and farm them, sell in the auction house for 10K or 15K. And the big free companies who don't want to bother with that bullshit, Just go buy the pop item.
I'm just saying, I'm concerned because that doesn't lend itself to casual play. That lends itself a little bit more to people who have to be plugged into the system and really engaged with it.
Well, it's a free company shit, man.
I agree. I think that they should do that, but I'm also trying to think from their end. I think that that's what one of their major concerns would be, is that it would that and they made a point of saying that there's going to be the ability to participate in this without having a free company airship or having access to a free company airship, like an airship that everyone can use, right? So because that it's going to be that inclusive and they want to be able to include randos with it, then who gets the pop item or loot ninja-ing? I mean, like, all of these things start to become a problem. I mean, I granted, like, loot ninja-ing can be a problem now too, but I
don't see it being a problem.
I'm just
not any more than what the loot ninja-ing is currently.
Yeah. I don't know if there are pop items, and especially if they sell for a lot of money, man. I don't know. It could be.
Master Looter. They have that. They have that now.
Yeah, but that usually set that up for instances. This isn't an instance. I mean, unless you can change it so that loot rules go for your party rather than for the entire zone.
Well, it could. I'm gonna actually say that it's going to be a separate, like, zone. Yeah, it's going to be like its own zone.
But there's going to be other parties in there, so it's not like where you put Loot Master on and then you queue up for it.
What's interesting is that sort of makes it a little bit conceptually like Sky was in FF11.
A little bit.
Because we had speculated whether or not it would be instanced, and the fact that it's not, I think, like there is a barrier to entry, which is having to do something with the airships. We're not really sure what yet, but there's your barrier to entry to getting in, and then at that point, you're going to a zone, a shared endgame zone, with objectives and loot to get. Yeah, that sounds a lot like Sky to me. Which is good. I mean, I think that it could be a good thing.
And the point is to find these NMs and H&Ms to kill them to have more loot drop.
And we have no idea what the spawn conditions or what we would have to do to get those to even appear. I mean, could be we get up there and there's nothing up there.
I think that this new zone, these new free company airship zones, I think this could be like the new place to be, because they're also going to introduce rare nodes for gathering.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be able to gather up there unless you have someone helping you out. Because I mean, you can't go invisible because that only works to a certain level, and these things are level 80 to 90.
Right. I don't know, man. I'm holding out a little bit of hope here. Like, this is the only part. Like, I'm so bummed by Void Ark. I'm so bummed by the release date. I'm kind of bummed out by everything else. But this, like, the Lords of Verminion, whatever. Fuck all that shit. But this could be okay.
This could be something to give the game life again, because they also talked about having 3 different layers of zones: the upper, middle, and lower layers of zones where. Presumably monster separation will exist. And maybe if you don't have a free company, you have to go on... Well, you can't go on foot. But you have to... If you don't have a free company, use the Ishgard airship to go to the lower one. But if you have a free company airship, you can go on the upper or middle tiers.
Well, yeah, because they do say it's like there's a quick 10-minute flying unlock to the first layer for, like, lore reasons.
Yeah.
So,
and what if you have a free company but they don't have an airship? Can you still use the other airship?
Oh, good question.
Because that's
good question.
That's me. My free
question.
company is very inactive, and so I'm just
What?
I don't know if that. Yeah, my free company leader has more or less quit, and so we just kind of stick around because we have a ton of points and we use it for the food buff. But we don't have any airship workshop, so I'm wondering, does that mean I should start looking for a new free company now, or will I still be able to go with the other airship?
I don't know, man. I mean, if you don't have 3 airships, 2 of them rank 50 by now, I mean, what have you been doing with your life? I mean, even my free company has that. And Nero, does your free company have any airships?
Yeah,
company is not inactive. Mine's inactive, and I'm just not sure what to do at this point.
Yeah, I had actually looked at that a couple of weeks ago when you had called me out on it. I forget. I totally forget how many airships we have.
Yeah.
Well,
Can you have 4?
Can you have a workshop that's more than my group has?
Can you have 4? Because I think we have 4.
You have 4? Okay.
I think we do.
I think you can have 4.
So shut your fucking mouth.
Okay. Well, what rank are they?
I don't know. I don't know.
That's important.
So anyway, Let's see. Yeah, they say free company list players can still use airships on Ishgard, solo, or party. Free company airships get some kind of advantage, though. So yeah, I think I think those two statements raise quite a bit of questions as to like exactly what is the airship? How does that serve as? Clearly, that's the barrier for entry, but how exactly does that function?
They said that the aliens will take place primarily on Abalathia's spine, which kind of leads into the question: are they going to have more zones in other areas, such as the Churning Mist?
Oh, that I had never thought about that. Because Abalathia's spine, there are areas that's
Sea of Clouds and Helix only.
Yeah, and that's the land. Abalathia's spine refers to the mountain range that exists beneath where those the parts that we're at.
Right. Okay.
Like ours are the Sea of Clouds. Those islands that we can go to, that is raised up above the mountain range that is considered Abalathia's spine.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, that is some interesting questions. Will there be? I think they would have to. I would think they would have to if they're going to continue supporting the system. If it puts out that kind of gear, if it's going to be a way to allow people to catch up. I can't see them introducing it in one patch and then never developing for it again. They have to have a plan for where else this shit is going to go. So I would think that they would allow us to start charting the next region as of patch either 2.1 or 3.1 or 3.2.
And that would kind of make sense because they introduced the free company airships in a patch where they don't really do anything, just to give everyone a little head start.
Right, to give people the opportunity to chart those lands. Yes,
right. And then they just build upon it in each upcoming patch.
Right. I think that, and I mean that's kind of smart. I have to give them that.
The only thing I'm holding out on is they haven't really added any new zones since an expansion or the release of 2.0. I mean, they added Wolf's Den, kind of, but they haven't actually added, like, a new zone with monsters.
True. Although, there wasn't as many zones added with Heaven's Word as I thought there might have been. So to hold a couple of those zones back to say, well, these are higher level zones that, you have to earn access to over time, I think that would be fair for them to do. So, yeah, while they've never done that before, I mean, I don't think that we can always necessarily look at their behavior in the past and say that's definitively what they're going to do now. I think it's totally conceivable for them to hold a few zones back if the intention behind those zones is that they're going to end up being event areas.
Like an end game zone.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
That's the only thing. Like, I've always imagined that they would add a zone, but that got like a little nagging feeling in my head that they never have added a new zone. So, but I mean, hopefully they do.
Yeah,
I don't see how they can't.
There's no place on the map for it to exist. I mean, if you think about it, every time they add a dungeon, it is a little bit like adding a new zone. They are adding a new environment, and it is, like you do go through it. And you know what I mean? Like
that doesn't count, though.
I think it does.
No.
I think it does.
Yeah, when people want new zones, they want a new place they can like hang out with other people.
Yeah.
But that's not what this is going to be. Even if they are as big as a lot of these other zones that we've got in the game already, they're not going to be the place to hang out.
It's a place to kill.
I think that I can't see a place for people to congregate.
Hold on, no.
Well, that would mean probably not. Like if there was aetherite things you could teleport to, then maybe. But I don't think this will happen.
I don't think that'll happen either. I think you'll need to go to the airship to be able to get your ass out there.
You don't think that wherever the Ishgard airship will drop everyone off at, you don't think people will just sit on their mounts flying and AFKing, shouting, "Hey, if you want to join my party."
For a few days, maybe a couple of weeks. But yeah, not for that long. I mean, it's not. If what you're saying is that it's going to become the new Idleshire?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
No.
I was just picturing like 10, 20 people sitting out there shouting.
I wouldn't be surprised if there are some kind of requirements to be able to enter, like you need, 3 people or something. You know what I mean? Like you may not be able to enter solo. I don't know. This is all speculation at this point.
Of course.
As we said, the levels of the mobs are going to be between 80 and 90. The weakest are about an A rank hunt mob. There will be NMs as well as HNMs, which I think a good question to ask along with that is, by HNM, do you mean that there's like a lottery spawn chance that you could get the HNM when you try to pop an NM, or is it like? Ooh. Or is it like that's the separation of difficulty tiers? Like,
no, I think that would be cool if there was a lottery chance. Like, as long as it's not competing for the H&M in like the open pop world, as long as it's like I'm popping this item and there's like a 1% chance of it being, like Nidhogg versus Fafnir, for example, that could make gear and sets have that kind of wow factor, right? Like this person has that because they had that RNG of 1% of this NM spawning.
While I don't disagree with you, I do think that it would present a problem for underprepared parties that are coming ready for, And
that's the risk that you have to take. Because, that's the same thing as like when you do treasure maps, even like the dragon skin maps. Yeah. There's so many that Se7en and I can just duo. But if we get the Chimera one, we can't do that, really. We need 3 people. So it's kind of just that chance that you have to take. Maybe we can do it now, but we couldn't before, at least as a paladin and a monk, because we didn't have any healing. But every other one we could do. So I could see this being, if it's only a 1% chance, you have a 99% chance of getting one that your underprepared party can kill. And then, you get that 1% chance, you fuck up and die, you start over.
Nika.
Right. Yeah,
why don't you use clemency? You have healing.
It costs like 2,000 MP.
Jasset in the chat saying that they said you can queue solo for the Sky Island exploration. But what they didn't say is, does that mean that you will then enter solo, or does that mean that you're queuing into
a party,
into a party making system? Because
that word queue doesn't sit right with me.
It doesn't sit right with me either. Because it's supposed to be open world. It doesn't make sense.
It's not instanced.
Yeah.
Are you queuing with only your server?
I don't know. Is that the word they actually said, or is that the
I
word
don't know. Well, that's the word that Jasset used. So
because it could just mean, you can hit a little button that transports you by yourself, or it could mean it's transporting you into a party.
Right.
But then what happens if you but who's saying that if it does put you into a party when you teleport there, who's to say you can't just hit /leave and then wander around solo?
That's I guess, but to me, like, that doesn't make sense with like with nodes being up there and shit. Like,
yeah, you should be able to go solo.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think that there's going to be exactly like a queue system for this. And if there is, then that to me says that there's going to be some kind of matchmaking. And I don't know.
I don't think this needs to have any matchmaking at all.
I don't think so.
If it is a queue, like, is it going to be only within our server, or does that mean it's going to
or data center? Yeah, who knows, man? Who knows? I don't know, man. NMs and HNMs, and also you'll be able to spirit bond your I-80 gear.
Which is a good thing.
I-180.
I-180, whatever. Another point, you can also change jobs freely. Again, that makes me think that it's not instanced. You will not have to do something like a queue for it. There won't be matchmaking. I think you can probably just go up there by yourself.
Everything that this is like alluding to makes me say zone.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So there, as Juxta was saying, bronze, silver, and gold chests will spawn. And points can be exchanged for gear and items. So
yeah, apparently there's gonna be points up there, so it's another currency system, I guess.
Great.
But that could be something like what they have with Alex, where like you kill this H&M, you get a random drop, but everyone who killed it also gets a token to buy a piece for it.
That's possible. I think it's actually probably more likely that it'll be like an Allied Seals type thing.
That's kind of how I feel.
Yeah,
maybe
it'll be completely segregated from anything else.
But what does it mean that like bad things can possibly happen? Like if you if you open a chest, can it turn into a mimic or something? Or like, what does that even mean?
When I was reading the the document for the live letter, it just said bad stuff can happen. And it was talking around the chest area, so I assumed it's from the chests, but I don't know what it means or what it entails or anything.
Or maybe that's
just
when
bad things.
spawn a really hard version of the NM that's like not even killable yet because artificial gear check.
Don't sound too jaded, Nika.
Sorry.
I mean, like, what kind of actual punishment would it be? You know what I mean? Like, if the battle is done, you're opening the chest.
It takes your gear away.
Okay, yeah, okay. So you're done for the day. Oh, my gear's taken away. Like, we weren't going to progress to the next NM anyway. Like, I don't know. Like, it seems like that's a punishment for somebody who is going to continue playing, not somebody who could choose to just, it's fuck it, it's time to log off. You know what I mean? Like, it's a weird point. At the point you're also being rewarded is a weird time to also be punished.
Do you think it might be timed in the fact you go in here and you have an hour to do whatever you want, and then after that hour you're
that sounds like Abyssia. Don't even.
I'm just saying.
Don't start it. Don't.
Yeah. They haven't said anything like that, but I'm just...
Yeah.
I have a feeling.
Yeah.
Although Abyssia's idea was okay at first, where you could choose to go in for amount of time and level, or you can choose to go in and do the NMs, and that was kind of your choice, which works to an extent as long as it's not game breaking. So, I mean, I guess you enter, you have an hour to kill. You can choose between like going after this NM or that NM, and then after an hour, then it like bars you from entering like Dynamis or something for a couple days. They didn't say that it was going to have a new bar to enter.
No. Don't make me not be able to do content. I hate that.
Oh my god, yeah. Lockouts are a pain in the ass, and they're not fun. I guess it depends.
If they make like a really big, difficult tier progression, then there'd be no need for a lockout.
Exactly.
But if they don't,
thank you.
If they make it pretty easier than we think it's going to be, then everyone will have all the gear, and we won't care about doing it after a couple weeks.
How hard do you think it's going to be, Nika?
I mean, I don't know. They say, when they say that the monsters are level 80 to 90, that means in comparison to us being level 60, right? Because even though we're level 60, we're eye level 210. Like, are these mobs that are level 80 stronger than level 210?
They said
how strong does that mean that they are? And does that mean that in a couple more patches when we're like I-280, are we going to outgear these?
Yeah, can we fart and blow them off the island?
They're still 20, 30 levels higher than us, but is our gear going to make that much of a difference? Or are these... I mean, they say the weakest mob is about an A-rank hunt, right? You can kill an A-rank hunt with 6 to 8 people.
With a party. So a level 80 would be a party. So I'd assume a level 90 would need...
2 parties?
2 parties? 3 parties?
If this is a dick roll, I'm seriously going to be so disappointed. It's got to have teeth. It has to have teeth.
It can't
Square-Enix, it has to have teeth. Listen to me. You've given us so many other things, Nerf bats for weapons. Just put some fucking teeth into this fight and make it challenging and make people want to continue doing it. Make those 210 items, make those worth investing in.
Show me your teeth.
It's like I don't want this to be the catch-up event like hunts were. You know what I mean?
Hunts were a non-game.
Hunts were a catch-up. They were just allowed the community. And you know what? Fine. Put the coats and twines and the upgrade shit, put that in hunts, put that in fucking CT or Void Arc until your heart's content. Make this shit fucking hard. Make it challenging.
In the patch 2.5, the last one, could you get upgrade items from hunts?
Yeah.
You could?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know which patch they put it in, but yeah, you could.
Yeah.
Okay. I just remember farming all of my upgrade items from Crystal Tower.
Yeah, and that's when they added the unstained mark logs for the original upgrades, and then once the next set of upgrades came out for the next set of tomes, they put the bloodstained mark logs.
Yeah.
And then they moved all the hunt stuff to like Grand Company seals, and then they put the new stuff on hunts.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I gotta cap out my allied seals now.
Jassid say again. They're saying they're as hard as A ranks. No, I think what they meant was that the regular open roaming mobs in there are going to be A ranks. That's what I took away.
That would be cool. Because
the weakest ones.
The weakest ones. Yeah.
The normal mobs you want to farm for the supposed pop items.
Yes, exactly. Those will be A ranks, and that's fair. I think that's fair.
That's good.
That's totally fair.
That would be a nice amount of difficulty.
2 parties taking on an A rank, which by the way happens all the time now. now, if you're not doing hunts right now, there's barely anyone doing them. You have to shout for at least 5 or 10 minutes to get enough people there to be able to kill
for
A ranks.
A rank,
yeah, for A ranks. And I mean, 2 solid parties against an A rank, that's actually a fun fight. I'm not going to lie. That's
It
not
has mechanics.
It's not a dick roll, and it's fun.
One party against an A rank is awesome too. We have one
Yes.
tank, one healer, and a bunch of DPS.
Yes.
Like, even the other, like not the other day, but most recently, like I was tanking. We had one healer. Everyone was dead, and I finished it off as a tank. It was really exciting.
Totally.
I can imagine. I hope that this has that kind of difficulty.
I do too. Because yeah, I agree. There have been, and especially since hunts aren't just this big clusterfuck anymore. That's always the time that I have the most fun with hunts, and that I'm actually more active in doing hunts is when there's 12 to 14 people standing around to try to kill it. That's fun to me. So yeah, I think if the easiest mobs in there are A rank hunts, that's fun, and that bodes pretty well for the challenge that you're going to be presented with when you spawn these NMs. So that's what I'm hoping for, at least.
Something that's kind of hard that you need people for, but not gonna bust your balls like a savage mode.
Right. And I mean, there's plenty of ways that they could fuck this up. I mean, they could just put one NM per island, and that's as hard as an A rank, and there goes your fun system. That's right out the window. There goes all your fun. You're just doing hunts in the sky now. Congratulations.
Yeah.
That would be very disappointing. But I think if they took some of the things that we suggested here today seriously, that would be, I think that would be a really fun system.
The only foreboding thing about this is they have never mentioned like a pop system at all.
No, you're right.
Yeah, we're all just complete speculation.
We're hoping.
I know.
Speculation.
I know.
We're just hoping.
But they have said, like the easiest mobs up there, we just don't know what the mobs up there mean. When they're referencing that, we just don't know what they mean. So
Crabs.
having to extrapolate a little bit from that. So anyway, all right. If you'd like to give us a call here at Limit Break Radio, send us a Skype message to the Skype account, Limit Break Radio, or give us a call, 810-515-8715. If you've got anything to say about the new airship event or any of the revelations from out at the Tokyo Game Show, give us a call and share your opinion here with us on Limit Break Radio. Are we being too critical? Are we being too negative, or do you think that some of this frustration is at all justified? So they also outlined what Lords of Verminion is going to be, and apparently it's going to be kind of RTS.
That's cool.
I like that, actually.
Yeah,
It's interesting.
You think you're going to do it?
I might do it. Well, I'm going to try it no matter what.
I will, but again, it all comes down to incentive.
Yeah.
So
MGP.
What's the reason for doing it?
Derp-a-derp.
I mean, it is going to be in the gold saucer, right? So it probably will give MGP reward.
Yeah.
But I hope that it gives things like you can get rare minions or mounts or something cool.
There's going to be a ranked mode and there's going to be a tournament mode. So that just tells me that, yes, it's going to be at least have as much support as Triple Triad does.
Okay, I like the triple triad stuff, but I hope the tournament isn't so easy to break where you can just have your friends throw all the fights for you so that you can be on top. I've been doing that too.
It's terrible.
It's not hard. Like, all you need is one person to just lose all their matches to you, and you can get easily in the top 10.
Well, no, the tournament thing is random, so you can't do that. Well,
What do you mean by random?
Okay, well, there's 5 modes. Tutorial mode, challenge is a ranked mode, training is versus CPU, battle, which would be an unranked mode, and then tournament matches, it matches the players automatically, so you can't cheese it like in Triple Triad.
I see. Okay. So it's something you queue up, like, against, like...
It's like Wolf's Den. You just, like, queue up, and then there you go.
Okay, so I just queue up with someone who's French only and have them...
They said it wouldn't be as cheesed as easily, okay?
Still can be.
So, I mean, will that mean that for tournaments you can face people on other servers, or it's just like on your own server?
Maybe. I don't know.
They didn't add that with Triple Triad. I can't see them adding. I mean, come on, cross-server Triple Triad would have been fun, but I can't see them doing that for Lord of Verminion.
When you queue up for the Chocobo races, does it put people with you from other servers? I think it does.
I actually have no idea. I have no idea.
Care?
Well, so that's what I'm just wondering. If they do it for the Chocobo races, they could easily do it for this.
I don't know. Juxta, you keep reading this shit because
All right.
I just don't care.
I like it. Okay, you use your minions to destroy opposing Arcana stones.
Like PvP.
What?
Instead of the nodes, you have Arcana stones, and instead of you use a minion. It's
it's cool. And you like all the minions have like different stats, like HP, attack, defense, and speed. And they say that minion stats will be different from minion to minion. And I don't know if that means like my Yagiri is going to be different from Nika's Yagiri. Like she'll have more attack, but I have more defense. Or if it's just like they're being dumb and saying that Yagiri and Hildebrand puppets have different stats. I don't know. But they also said control will be limited. You can say where they go, but who they attack directly, that's up to the minion. So
that's lame. I was hoping I could actually like choose my Hildebrand minion and actually control and run around and attack things.
No,
Why would you have thought that? Why would you have entertained that idea for even a second? You know damn well that's not what we were going to get.
That's what it looked like in the screenshots when you saw all the minions in like that area.
Okay.
No.
You're gonna choose from all your minions. They all like have a specific cost or whatever, right?
Okay.
And like Hildebrand will cost 30. Like a little squirrel would cost 10 or whatever, and you put like some minions on the field and you choose where they go and how to like advance and stuff, and then they choose how to attack and who's like in their attack range or whatever,
like tower defense type of things.
Kind of, but you can move them around and stuff. So it's like an RTS, but you don't really choose who attacks who.
So it's not a fucking RTS.
Yeah, RTS.
Oh, I guess, it is like a tower defense then, I guess.
Oh, God.
I guess.
Tower defense that lets you move them.
Yeah, and more active tower defense.
God damn it. This is so... No,
I really wanted it to be like a Pokemon Stadium type of thing where you could actually play as the minion and attack things.
Yeah, no.
Like, and you would have like a list of 3 moves and you could click on it and attack things, and that would, like PvP, but you get to control your minion instead.
That was never going to happen.
But they have different types. They have Poppet, Monster, Critter, and Gadget, and it's like rock, paper, scissors. Poppets beat monsters, monsters beat critters, and critters beat poppets. And gadgets are neutral.
Wait, so I can't choose who they attack, so I can put them somewhere, but if it just so happens that one of mine that loses to the other one happens to be in its way, I'm pretty much dooming it to fail, and I can't do anything about it.
Well, you can remove them. You can tell them to go somewhere else.
You know what I really hope? I really hope that they take a page from Fire Emblem, and if your minion dies, you lose the minion.
That'd be pretty fun.
That would put some real stakes in it. Put some nuts on it.
Well, some of them are exclusive, like veteran rewards.
I know. Give it some balls.
Because
give those minions, give the exclusive ones the absolute best stats, the most bomb banana stats.
If they lost it, they lose it forever.
Exactly. That's fun. That would be fun. I would fucking be into that.
But the thing is, there are so many.
Yes, it would be.
The collectors would never do it. They'd be alienating a huge part of their player base. Really, the only point to having minions is to collect them. So if you're going to go in there and lose them, no one will do it.
First of all, I would be so into this because I can give a fuck about my minions. You could take all of them today. You could take all of them today, and I would not be the least bit heartbroken. I'd bye. See you later. The thing I never used. Okay. So, and then secondly, this would provide hours upon hours of entertainment for me personally, because all I would do is seek out Twitch streams of people who are really, really into playing Lords of Verminion and have great minions, and just I would camp their streams for hours and hours and hours to watch them lose their exclusive minion and cry and lose their shit. And then I would take that video and I'd play it on this show and I'd make fun of them endlessly, and it would be a joy for me.
All you'd have to do is watch our stream when it happens to Juxta.
It would be I would do it.
Do you really think I'm gonna put my Hildebrand up there?
I would be dancing.
Nothing but bats and slimes all day, every day.
If you could lose your minions, granted, I think finally some of the stupid minions would have more value on the market board because more people would be buying them, but nobody would ever use their good ones for fear of losing them.
Yeah, then don't use them. Then don't use them. No better. But you know what? Your matches are gonna suck, and the person that has the balls to use them are gonna fucking wipe the floor with you. But I mean, there's got to be some kind of, you've got to have some kind of way to, as we were talking in the metagame episode, you got to have some kind of way to balance that. You got to have like a shit deck that can just destroy shit shit like that, and then take their bomb ass minion. You're not going to tell me that that's fun? That would be so much fun. Oh my
I would
god!
never play it.
Oh my god! I'd do nothing else.
Because it's a
would
gold
change the
saucer
whole
event. You're
system
gonna
for
get
me.
MGP for it.
That would change the whole system for me, and I would be so into that. It would be hilarious. There have been entire MMOs where there are servers where when you die, the person who kills you gets to loot your corpse. And let's say you were carrying all your money, fuck it, all your money's gone. I mean, like, why does everything have to be you gotta put diapers and fucking bumper corners on everything in this game?
Because money is something you can get again. A veteran reward is not something you can ever get again.
Who cares? Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. Who cares? It puts a little bit of oh, maybe I should hold that back into it. And that's fun. To me, that's way more interesting and fun as a system than
it won't happen though.
I know it won't.
Especially because in FF8, if you lost a triple triad match, you actually lost the card.
I know.
You don't lose cards in this game. You're not gonna lose
know,
minions.
and doesn't that suck? Am I the only one that thinks that sucks?
No, I would be so pissed if I lost a card whenever I lost a match.
That would be amazing. That would honestly, that would make Triple Triad amazing.
No, because they wanted to control the market. They didn't want people to because if you could lose them to each other, then they would have to allow you to trade them. And that would also mean that you would be able to collect more than one. And the way that Triple Triad and Minions works is you can only have one of the same. If you take someone else's, you're having double, and that's a different system entirely.
I like the idea of you lose the minion. I like it dies, you lose it. It's gone. I fucking love that idea. And I know it would never happen.
Get out with that idea.
I know it would never happen because it's Square-Enix, but I'm telling you that would make it fun for me. People in the chat are like, "Well, if you're complaining about everything in Nero, what would be fun for you?" That would be fun for me. That would sincerely be fun. I love watching YouTube videos of people who fuck up Hearthstone decks, or they fucking what was there was something about Hearthstone where there were like certain packs. People were buying the wrong packs in these huge $60 quantities, and then they'd realize what they did and shit their pants on stream, and that was the funniest thing in the world for me.
Yeah, they'd spend like $90 and they'd buy the classic pack and not the new expansion pack.
Yes, exactly.
Because they're morons.
Exactly.
How do you make that mistake?
Well, because they're dumb.
Stupid.
Because you're stupid and you click the wrong button and you have nobody to blame but yourself, and you can be mad at nobody.
Confirmation that said you are buying the classic pack. Proceed.
It says, "Do you want to spend $90 on Hearthstone?" And you click OK.
Yeah, people do that shit all the time. I mean, I misclick shit all the time, but not to where it costs me $90 and I generally don't tend to do that stuff in a very public setting. But it's like the meltdown that people would have. I would care less. Like, the thing is, fucking lose a minion. I could, as a player, I could care less about that system. But I do understand how much minions mean to some players out there, and to watch them completely unravel and lose their shit as they lost an exclusive minion would just be the funniest thing in the world for me.
Yeah, because you don't care about minions. I feel like if you actually cared, you would be completely on the other end of this right now.
No.
You just don't care because you have nothing to lose from this.
Well, I mean,
and people who care about their minions would never even play this game.
While that's true, while that's absolutely true, no, I don't think that if I cared about minions, I would be on the other side of that. Because
really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Again, I'm going to go back to citing Ultima Online, which had this great idea where anything that was on your character when you died, you lose it. You have great loot. You're using a bomb-ass sword. That sword's gone. The motherfucker who killed you just took it. And now what? You're going to kill him to take it back? Good luck. Find him again. You know what I mean? Like, it's that kind of... I love that shit. I love that kind of multiplayer gameplay where it's just like, nah, fuck you. And I understand that that's not for everyone, and that it doesn't necessarily have to be the cornerstone that the game is built on, but having an element of that in Final Fantasy XIV, that is sorely lacking in this game. You could put it in
a mini game. This isn't supposed to be something that makes you cry and rage.
So is Hearthstone.
Hey, Hearthstone is an esport, and they have BlizzCon qualifiers and like $250,000 prizes.
That was a bullshit spinoff that got hot, dude. That was like, no, even Blizzard was like, yeah, I don't know, guys.
Hey.
Digital. Why don't we print this on actual cardboard? And some genius in there was like, no. We're gonna put it out as a game. Don't charge anything. Just charge for the packs. This is fucking brilliant. We'll make $1 bajillion, and it worked. And
you go to Twitch right now and you see what's in the top 3, probably top number 1 being streamed right now, and I can guarantee you Hearthstone is in the top 3.
I can also tell you that poker for a while had a place on television. It doesn't mean that it was any good or interesting to watch, but
I love watching Texas Hold'em.
Fuck it. Okay, great. You like watching mini games. Good job. Poker's a mini game. It's a life mini game. Poker's a mini game for life. Congratulations.
Anything you play then is a mini game.
Don't unpack the logic of it, Nika. Don't try to think about it. You know I have a great point. Now just roll with it.
We're doing a mini game right now.
Yes. We're doing a meta mini game. I don't even know what the words I'm saying mean anymore. All right.
Did I just blow your mind?
Is that everything for Lords of Verminion? Are we done?
We can talk a little bit more about it.
Are we done? Please, can we be done?
Let's see. Matchmaking based on performance, similar to Wolves Den. And
we covered this.
Achievements, rewards, more minions for the minion god.
No, God. Okay.
Oh, so there will be minion rewards from this.
Yes.
For the minion god?
Yeah, the minion god.
I don't even know what that means.
You never heard the more blood for the blood god? You never heard that phrase before?
No.
No? It was on something.
No.
Well, it's a thing. Forget it. You ruined it, Nika. Thank you.
Good job.
And now we have Alicia Makers of Hyperion on the line.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to Limit Break Radio.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. We can hear you. How's it going?
Going pretty good.
Thanks for calling the show. What's up?
All right. Well, I was just listening in on the TGS, and I just had a thought where I thought about the census that they released like a month ago.
Yeah.
And like how there's like barely any people doing Alex normal, let alone Savage.
Yeah.
So I was thinking that maybe that they just thought that, okay, we can afford to push back to November because like the Raiders, like since they're like such a small number, if they like unsub, we won't lose as much, and they'll just resub back on November. That's what I was thinking.
They lose money that way, though. Why would that be a smart business plan?
Yeah, I think that there's some that logic is a bit problematic there. And the reason being is that you had mentioned that the stat for people clearing Alex Savage was low, but also that people doing and queuing for Alex Normal was low. And again, I think that this all relates back to incentive, that the event Alexander overall isn't properly incentivized because the gear that you get out of it from the normal mode isn't relevant at all, and Savage is being immediately undercut by this new gear that's coming out, as well as being able to upgrade your ESO items, which we know is going to be coming in the next patch anyway. And because players who would normally be motivated to continue trying that event and be engaged in that event got what they wanted out of it, which was their story, so easily with one round through of Alex Normal. That's why, I mean, I think that is why both of those numbers are down, and the fact that both of those numbers are down is really concerning from an overall community engagement standpoint.
And not only that, but the content that we're going to get in 3.1 doesn't even cater to the hardcore players at all.
That's right. There's no end game progression.
So really, you're just hurting their casual base by pushing this back.
Yeah.
And the people who aren't clearing Savage aren't really going to want to clear it anymore. Even if you push it back and give them more time.
Giving them 7 more weeks, I don't think that that's going to get people who aren't into Savage already into Savage. Do you think that that's wrong? I'm sorry. I forgot. I forgot the caller's name. Alicia. I'm sorry. Do you think that that's apt or not?
Oh, I don't really think it's like a good idea or anything like that. It's just that it is kind of puzzling because it's hard to believe that they lost so much time just from a vacation.
I know. That is legitimately confusing, isn't it?
I feel like it was a bad move to even tell us that they had a vacation.
Yeah.
They should have just kept that a secret and just told us that, they were working on making the content better. And I think, we wouldn't be as
we would still demand like a
confused.
reason, and we'd still be mad.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure their strategy behind telling us or admitting that.
Yeah, that it was a vacation that held it up. Yeah, that may not have been the smartest move on their part. But I mean, it's just I do think that there is a little bit to the theory that the reason Alex 3 and 4 are so difficult and have such tight DPS gear requirement checks is because they wanted to hold people out. They wanted to hold people back from clearing for longer than they normally would have. Like, and I know that that's super cynical and it makes it sound like Square Enix is also super cynical, but like I can't understand the reasoning for making those the fights are, I think people have pointed this out, they're artificially hard. Like there's an artificial difficulty that's built in that is eased with better gear.
Really? I mean, do you really think
that's how I see a super tight DPS check? Yeah.
Okay, well, that's kind of past at this point. I mean, the issue with A3 Savage, I mean, what is it, Nika? It's not gear. I mean,
there is still a part of it that would be easier with gear, but there is a lot of bullshit mechanics that are like, they're just really hard to handle. Like A1 and 2 are very, very, very clearly the problem is DPS checks. And I think, they must have done that on purpose, knowing that their next patch was going to be so long from now that they know that
that's what I'm saying.
The average player won't be clearing A2 Savage until they get all their SO upgrade gear or whatever. And so that's going to take a longer amount of time in general so that they can take longer to release the patch.
See, that's what I'm thinking. And I feel like a cynic thinking that because it just seems like such a cynical thing to do.
I don't think so, because I feel like if you... Like, the people who can't clear A1 and A2 Savage right now just because of gear, I don't think they have any hope of clearing A3 before 3.1 comes out. So I feel like they would be the ones to be disillusioned to just give up.
Man, I don't know. It's so hard. I mean...
I think it's just they had too big of a bite and they couldn't get this shit done fast enough. I think that's why it's...
You really think that what they've outlined for 3.1 is too big of a bite for them?
No, not compared to what they've... Okay,
with what they've delivered in the past? This seems like...
In the past, they give us 3 new dungeons. We're only getting 2 this time.
There you go.
And they give us a crystal tower type of thing. Like, are they saying that, like, okay, maybe this new zone is the amount of development time of the other dungeon? But if that's the case, it's equal in what they're releasing.
Exactly.
Before, 60 to 80 hour work weeks. Maybe now they're doing 40 to 60. They're cutting back on how much manpower they're putting into the game.
Why? They just hit 5 million fucking subs. They're getting more money than they've ever gotten for this game at one time. There's no reason for them to take a break or to cut down on hours. They have every reason to throw more development resources at it.
Maybe they're dying. They're literally dying from being overworked, and they're trying to make sure they don't die.
Well, no, I'm just saying from a company standpoint, like that's a systemic problem that Square Enix as a company would need to address.
All right,
why cut resources on the thing that's bringing in the most revenue for your company?
What? So they just wanted to add more people, hire more people?
Okay, you can't just make up jobs like this.
No, but share the... I don't know what the answer is because I don't know what their actual staffing problem is. But if they have a staffing problem where they need to take vacations, man, fuck, they're getting 12 of my dollars every single month. They're gonna get, they're gonna get more of my money in this fucking downtime. We're paying them a considerable amount of money to deliver content and to deliver content on a schedule, and then when when they decide to push that back, okay, it's Yoshi P, we're gonna let it slide. That's the Yoshi, he's fine. No, fuck that. We're paying a lot of money. And for that,
they should just hire more people. I don't understand like the difficulty in doing that.
Again, if it's a staffing problem, just throw more resources at the problem.
Especially since this is your bread and butter at the point.
Exactly. It's making more money for your company than any other product.
Oh, except for Final Fantasy 13. That was a hit.
Why would you take any kind of development resource away from that? That doesn't make any sense. Why would you let the momentum down for even a moment? When you know that you're nipping at the heels of World of Warcraft. That is an accomplishment, by the way, that no other game with a subscription has gotten anywhere even fucking close to.
Well, WoW is also dipping right now.
WoW is still.
WoW is shitting right now.
Still, cutting into half of their fucking population a year out of the re-release of your game, that's significant. Doesn't matter if WoW's on the decline or if it's in 11. You still have fucking 5 million people, and you've got 5 million people with a sub. How the fuck that's so much fucking money. 5 million with subs. There is no other MMO other than WoW that has gotten to that point. Ever. And
did they say 5 million accounts were active though, or that they just had 5 million
that's
accounts
the thing.
that were registered?
You really can't. I don't know. I don't remember what exactly the statement was, but the only data that we have to gauge this stuff is what comes out of the company themselves. Like, there are no independent agencies that track populations of MMOs or active player bases of MMOs. There used to be, but there's not anymore, which is really unfortunate. So all we have to go by are official statements given by the company. Now, the company said that they were at 5 million, that they had hit the 5 million mark. They put that everywhere. I don't remember what exactly the language was, but 5 million, if you're going to say it publicly, you better have some kind of number to back that up, right?
If they're just saying accounts, then I think like World of Warcraft has like 25 or 20 million accounts, but obviously not all of those are active.
Right.
So I mean, it's,
right. That would be completely different. But I think the implication was that it was 5 million active subscribers.
Really?
I think that's I
want to throw around the 1 million figure for active subscriptions, but I can't source anything. So
yeah, I mean the chat's making a good point. Like when they showed the census, 250,000 people cleared Alex Normal out of 5 million players. Only 250,000 have cleared it. That doesn't seem like a lot.
Yeah, well, but again, you don't have, not all 5 million of those people are sitting at level 50. Some of them have joined at different points of the game. But if you're counting 5 million among your subscribers, and that's the number that you're going to put out there, then you know what? As a player and as a casual observer, I'm going to have some expectations for your content. I don't think that's unfair. I think that's totally valid.
That's true. If they're throwing that number around, then they need to hold up to what they're posting about.
Yeah. Big time. I mean, fucking call me salty, call me mad, all you want. But I think that, you're going to, if you want to throw your weight around like that, you better be able to back it up. And the way that they have to back it up is they have to back it up with the development that they show toward this game. And making players wait another 7 weeks, that's fucked. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
True that, Holmes.
It really is. All right. So, again, if you have anything to add to this discussion, you can, of course, call the show on Skype at Limit Break Radio or 810-515-8715 if you're calling in on a normal old phone. I think that takes care of everything that we have from TGS. And I think we touched on a kind of an interesting topic here, which is what does FF14 hitting the 5 million player mark? What does that really mean? What does that mean for the game? What does that mean for us as the community? How much can we trust that number of 5 million? And I think that we're going to spend some time unpacking that on another episode, because it's we touched on it here. I think we opened it up and we're not going to have much to talk about in the next 7 weeks.
That's for damn sure.
So I think that might be an episode coming up here, guys. Think about that. What does 5 million players for Final Fantasy XIV, what does that mean when World of Warcraft is also sitting at 5 million? What does it mean that, games like Guild Wars 2 don't ask for a monthly subscription and then don't provide the same amount of content? What kind of expectations are set up through those games? So we're going to want to know what you have to say. And of course, we take your emails at hosts@limitbreakradio.com. Feel free to write us, or you can always call the show on Skype at Limit Break Radio or 810-515-8715. If you're happening to catch this on the podcast, which comes out on Tuesdays at our website, limitbreakradio.com, then I invite you, please join us live. I know that our live schedule has bounced around a little bit in the last couple of weeks, but we're trying to shore it up as best we can. We are real people. We do have other things that are going on.
No, I'm a bot.
Going on in our lives, and so we have to be able to account for that sometimes. And of course, we do appreciate your patience with stuff like that. Running with a small crew of 3 now for 2 weeks in a row, and yet still just as entertaining and thought provoking as ever. And that's just the kind of shit that you get here with Limit Break Radio. So be an active part of Limit Break Radio. Write us, call into the show, and that all happens live at twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio and through our website at limitbreakradio.com. All right, let's read this first email here. Hey, LBR team, Rascaria Lord from Diabolos here. Just want to say thanks for the awesome show you guys do. Was wondering how you feel about machinists now. Do you think that they do more DPS, that more people actually know what they're doing? Best of luck and keep on rocking, guys. Thank you very much, Rascaria, for that email. Machinist, how you guys feeling about Machinist?
We have a Machinist in our endgame raid, and he's just fine.
He's holding his own?
Yeah, we have no problems with it.
Okay.
Well.
I don't know. I always dread having a machinist in my party just because they don't know what they're doing. And
well, that was like that, but that was there was a
any
lot.
Machinist who spams that Gauss barrel that's gonna move as a tank. Your biggest job is to position the mob so that they're not facing the healers and so that they're in a way that everyone can hit them, or the monk can do their positionals. Yes, you get them just right, and the Machinist knocks the mob across the zone. Now all of a sudden you have 2 mobs facing each other, one facing the healers and one not, and I have to run in a whole circle to fix it. Come on, Machinist. The bosses don't get knocked back. Use it on the boss for extra DPS. I get it, but pay attention. The tanks have a very crucial job to not kill you, and by aiming them out towards yourself, you're doing no favors.
That first of all, that's fair. Second of all, it doesn't really. I haven't seen that happen in a long time.
It still does.
It happened a lot. Maybe it happens in low level queues or something like that, but I haven't experienced that in a long time. But here's the thing. What's funny about that is that for the first 2 or 3 days of Heaven's Word, I didn't realize that Machinist got that ability, and so every time that would happen, I would go, "Stop fucking fluid auraing! Fucking stop!" And they go, "I didn't touch fluid aura," and of course the Machinist would be very fucking quiet at that point. But I don't run into that as much anymore. I think Machinists have the ones who are queuing in expert dungeons, they're pretty good. I haven't run into any problems with them. I haven't tried to do anything serious with them though. So.
Nika, okay, here's the problem. That ability does damage. So all the Machinist is trying to do is make up for the Paladin's lack of damage.
No, okay. I understand off cooldown things they're even as a monk, I'll throw in the stuns or the other random things just to get that extra DPS. But when you're just fighting trash mobs, it really doesn't matter that much. Like I said, the bosses don't get knocked back.
Yeah.
So use them on the bosses, use them where you can get extra DPS. But on the trash mobs, please don't inconvenience the tank. Please, it's stupid. And all you're doing is risking getting yourself hit with stupid AoEs.
Oh, yeah.
The problem with Machinist is it's very complex with the rotation and what they want to do, and they're terrible at trash because I guess a big chunk of their damage comes from wildfire procs or whatever, and trash doesn't live long enough for them to build up a good wildfire.
Yeah, I've heard that as well.
So take forever.
I've leveled it a little bit. Like, don't get me wrong. I spent a little bit of time hanging out with machinists, and I like it. Who was it that said that said it in the chat? Ramos saying in the chat, like, yeah, it does require a great amount of precision and awareness to play. Like, I will say this: I admire a really good machinist.
Yeah, but like
the bad ones are noticeable, though.
It's just bad because there aren't very many good machinists.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to call out any names, but the few times I went with some machinists in the LBR LS,
oh no,
I've
you know who you are.
I'm just saying, as a white mage, I may have been contributing a little bit more than they have.
Oh wow!
So
shots fired.
I'm just.
Is that what the numbers say? Is that what the that's what the
little bird says in my ear.
Oh, is that little bird named Parser?
It's called ACT.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The bird's name is ACT.
Oh, got it. Got it.
But no, I mean, a good machinist, fine. You're a contribution. Guess what? There's not very many good machinists, okay? And if you think you're a good one, you're probably not. Okay?
No, the good machinists know who they are. They know. They
just know deep in their hearts.
Yes,
that they do the damage.
There's a lot of people who are getting insecure by this segment, but the ones who are not, they're like, yeah, I know what he's talking about. Yeah, I'm a machinist. I get it. You're the one. You're the ones we don't worry about.
Spoilers, it's you.
Anyway, all right. Let's take this next email here. Nika, why don't you take that one?
Yeah, I'll take this one.
Sure.
All right. They say, hello, my name is Lilith Tyrannus of Fairy Server. First off, I wanted to start off this email by saying that I have been a huge fan of the show since the 11 days. You guys have provided me with countless hours of entertainment over the years, and if I weren't so in debt as a college student, I would have donated on Patreon much sooner.
That's very nice. That's too nice. That's too nice. You guys on Patreon, you guys blow me away. I can't believe that that you guys are so nice and generous to support us like that. And we like I said, I've said this before. Our total fluctuates all over the place. We've been as high as almost 1,900. Right now we're at 1,566, and we understand that not everyone's going to be able to support Limit Break Radio forever. And we so appreciate what you're able to give when you're able to give it. It's amazing, it's incredible, and we can't thank you enough, guys. So thank
even
you
just
so
the
much.
thought that you want to help, even if you can't, that means a lot.
For real, yeah.
They continue by saying every one of you guys is awesome, even Callow. Getting to the point, though, I saw a rather interesting point brought up regarding parsers and MMO communities on the forums.
Oh, hey, it's your little bird friend.
There was speculation about how the Final Fantasy XIV community would react to an official parser if it was ever implemented, and importantly, the difference in the community's reaction with other MMOs that have had officially supported parsers from the beginning. I have only played 11 before 14, so my experience with other MMOs is limited, but people who have played games like the Old Republic claim that nobody gave a shit about parser discrimination. People just accepted it and used it as a tool to better their performance of their group as it was meant to be used. In the case of FF14, however, the implementation of a parser at this point would lead to half of the community claiming that parsers are ruining their game. It's a difference in the ways that the different MMO communities have evolved over time. I feel like Square-Enix doing things to prevent harassment, like blocking tells in dungeons, technical limitations or not, that was their reason, or refusing to officially support in-game parsers, has babied the community in such a way that the community screams elitism whenever someone has the nerve to tell them that they have room to improve.
Yes.
How do you think the community would react? Is it too late to implement an official parser without a community uproar? Thanks. Lilith Tyrannus.
Lilith, I love this email. I think that this is a fantastic question, and you hit on a couple of really important points in here. Is that parsers now, like, yes, you're absolutely right. Other games that have officially sanctioned parsers from the beginning don't experience parser discrimination. But the thing is I don't know whether those games have as tight of DPS checks in their encounters as we do in ours. So it may not play as big of a role in trying to improve your group's performance as a parser in FF14 would. I completely agree with your assessment that Square Enix, blocking tells in dungeons and not putting a parser in from the beginning and making those decisions, does baby the community. And we see this all the time now with the the whole story mode thing and how entitled people are. Like, yeah, I need, I should be on the same eye level as all of the raiders, like that whole fucking mentality. That I totally think that it's encouraged by Square Enix, and you've hit some very good nails on the head in terms of where they have reinforced that feeling.
Well, we also have to keep in mind that a lot of these people that play this game watch anime, and that really speaks volumes to how intelligent they are.
What
So,
the fuck?
Oh,
Get out of here!
Oh,
God damn! No, the biggest thing is that in most MMOs, if people can't or don't want to do end game content, they just say, "Oh, that's not for me," and they don't do it. Whereas in this game, it's like, "Oh, I want to be able to do this, make it easier," or "Oh, I want to be able to be as powerful as the people who do it because I want to be." And for whatever reason, this community has fostered that mentality, and I don't understand.
Well, but the thing
where we go from now.
The thing is that there is this very real sentiment that exists out there that if Square Enix were to implement a parser at this point, that with the emphasis on DPS checks and with the fact that it hasn't been supported in the past and throwing it into a fresh player base and giving them new stats to look at, that first of all, the thing about parsers, no matter what, is that there are people out there who read them wrong and don't know what the data is that they're looking at. That's kind of the danger of it, where if everyone has a parser and you've got somebody who's not reading into it correctly and they're interpreting the data all wrong, then that, I think that is its own problem that exists. But in terms of the status that using a parser has taken in this community now, where it seems to be a thing that is denigrated, or people don't like it when they're being parsed and shit like that. I think if Square Enix were to put one in now, that all of those people who don't like the idea of parsers would just scream foul and continue to scream foul.
Yeah, well, those people
and scream discrimination. Every group,
fucking balls.
Every fucking group that they get thrown out of from now until the end of time, it doesn't matter if they were mouthing off or AFKing or being a complete fucking moron, they're gonna claim, oh, it was because of the parser bias.
No, I think Square Enix's answer to that was, didn't they say they were going to add a practice room where you could go attack rotations on training dummies and see your DPS or something? I think that's their answer to it. I don't think they would ever actually put in a parser at this point.
No, well, it's not whether they would, but could they? Could Square? I mean, because obviously they can make one and put it in, whatever. But could they and have the community not tear itself to shreds?
Yes.
I agree.
I think they could. And I think
they could.
I think they need to, if they do that though, they need to stop coddling this whole community.
I agree.
And start treating us as actual people who can actually play this game.
Adults.
Yeah.
Adults.
Yeah. Adults.
Yeah.
And not anime watchers.
Yeah.
God damn it, Judge.
You're throwing shade at the Animus today hard, aren't you?
I know. I've got an anime shirt on right now. What does that say about me?
It's okay. They'll just go cry in the corner. They'll hug their anime body pillow. It'll be fine.
They'll go.
Maybe make some posts on the official forums about us.
Cry into their waifu.
And cry into their waifu. It'll be fine. But no, I think they could and they should, because they are basing this game and the end game around DPS checks. So the fact that there isn't already a parser in the game is kind of weird and not very intelligent.
It is weird, especially in this day and age of MMOs. And the weirder thing is that when people started asking about official plugins that were going to be supported as 3.0 was rolled out, they have been very quiet about whether or not they would want a parser as a part of that thing. You know what I mean? I don't understand why they're being weird specifically about parsers, but. I think
the criers are just making a straw man argument about how they'll get kicked from
yes, that's
from
true.
Parties, and you know what?
Yes,
that never happens. And if it does, it's because your DPS is too terrible and you should be kicked because you're a bad player and you watch anime.
Hey, Jackson, I think you're pushing it a little too far now.
I agree with that.
Like, it was funny, now it's dead.
She's starting to get offended. I think you're.
No, I just think
you're
now
rustling some jimmies now.
Too hard. You're just trying too hard now. Beating a dead horse at this point.
I'm just not wrong. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I agree with him. It's not wrong. Anyway, great email, Lilith. Can't thank you enough for that. Really good discussion out of that too.
Speaking of body pillows, we also have a caller calling in, Wooten Panzer, wanting to talk about that FC airship sky exploration stuff.
All right, here's the thing, Wooten Panzer. Your email is queued up next for us to read, so you either get a call or we read your email. It's not going to be both.
I'll just have to read it.
Okay. All right. We'll take the call. We'll take the call.
Anyways.
We'll take the call.
It doesn't matter.
All right, that's cool. We'll take the call. So, Wooten, what do you want to talk about today, man?
Oh, well, first off, I wanted to tell you guys I got my LB Army dog tags.
Yeah.
And I'm number 66. So is that you guys telling me I'm 11 times better than Escalia?
You could
be double the 6 and
Actually, the lower the number you are is better. It's like golf. So you're actually 1/11th the power of a scholar.
Oh no.
Yeah. So, congratulations, LB Army member number 66, Wooten Panzer. Thank you for calling in today. What do you want to talk about?
Yeah. So I read the 3.1 stuff, and a lot of it excites me, but with a grain of salt, because I feel like even though it sounds really cool, it might end up being the same kind of stuff that's been happening. That's kind of the same contrived content where like, oh yeah, we can still go in and do this stuff, but it's going to be a weekly cap. You get on for 2 or 3 days and then you're done. Or it might end up being hunts in the sky, like you said. That really scares me. I would hate to see more hunt stuff. Oh, like I would hate to see that. Like, part of me like really wants it to be cool and something you can just go on and do like all the time, and it's always new and random and takes up a lot of your time. But I don't know. Like, I don't know right now. Everything's been the same since 3.0 came out.
It really has. And I mean, the last time that we got anything to even vary that structure up a little bit was hunts, which is why it kind of leads me to believe that this may just be hunts in the sky. And that bums me out. Like, that really concerns me. If that's all this is, then I really feel like they're really not putting the development time into the new events that they're rolling out, and it really concerns me for the future of like, what the fuck am I going to keep doing in this game?
It makes me feel like I can't even trust them for 2 reasons. I mean, like, one, they said they would give us, the same patch update schedule, which they're failing to deliver.
Yeah.
And secondly, as he said, they were going to try new, unique things that might possibly fail, but they wanted to put themselves out there, which again, I don't know if we're going to see that, and I just don't know. What do I believe that comes out of Yoshi's mouth at this point?
Right, but I mean,
exactly.
but I think if they're gonna. If that's the statement that they're going to hold to, and then they bring out this new system and it does end up being hunts in the sky, and they go, oh well, that was our new thing that we wanted to try. I'm going to say no, you didn't fucking try. Like, there's
it's not new.
Yeah,
it's the same thing with a different location.
Exactly.
It's going to be people spamming hunt link shells and camping monsters and sniping monsters and having like Google Docs with spawn times they only give out to certain people. And it's just the same thing. It's like a catch-up mechanic. I don't want that. I'd rather them put in new levels of gear that is actually like an incentive.
Yeah.
So that you're like, okay, well, I can either get gear from Savage or I can get gear from grinding ESOs. And it's the same thing every single time. Okay, well, the eye level is different, but it's the same thing. Like, we've had tome systems since 2.0 launch, and I'm getting really tired of it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, and that actually brings up another good point that I hadn't actually really thought of, is that the fact that the gear that you're getting out of it is Chu 10 and it doesn't actually outclass the rating gear tells me that there's not going to be a significant challenge.
If you're lucky, if RNGesus loves you.
Okay,
it's a side grade, okay?
Yeah, but it's a side grade. See, now if they had said that the rewards that come out of this are going to be ethereal gear at eye level 220, I would be going, oh man, these things are going to be fucking hard. This is going to be a challenging thing because it's pushing forward endgame progression just a little bit, not a ton, just a little bit, because you think about it, the next forward endgame push that we're going to get in terms of eye level gear, there's going to have to be a couple of tiers of gear in there, not just for Alex Normal, but for Alex Savage as well, and then we got to get new tome gear in there as well.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, you can get really lucky with some of these side grades, though. I mean, like,
Totally.
there's so much pieces for, I mean, like healers have been complaining that they have no accuracy on their gear. You end up with accuracy and debt on a healer piece or something like that, you're rolling, it's going to be what you want.
No, I agree with you, and I'm not saying that there's not going to be anything worthwhile coming out of this system, but what I'm saying is that there's no clear indication at this point how challenging it's going to be, and because of what the rewards that they've set out of this system, that doesn't give me any more of an indication that it's going to be any more challenging than whatever exists in the game currently. So I mean, like, okay, because we kept talking about, like, we really want this to be a challenge, and we don't want it to be we don't want it to be a face roll and all of that. We have no indication of what the challenge is going to be, and even looking at the gear structure, it doesn't tell us anything.
I kind of think that we don't need something harder than Savage at the moment.
And I'm not saying that it should be harder than Savage, but if the rewards outclassed it, at least in just a little bit, like, yeah, it would be a catch-up patch, but you could also see that as a justification of trying to funnel people into participating in a new system, right? But like, the question is, how challenging is the fight going to be when we get there? And the fact that it's all side grade shit, look at how easy the hunts were. That's why I'm worried about it being hunts in the sky.
No, the hunts were created to fill a gap created by people who watch anime. I think the sky stuff.
Damn, you're hitting that button hard.
Jackson, you tell me you don't watch any anime. Like, I don't believe that for a second.
I'm trying to make a point here. I think that if it's the easiest stuff in the sky is as hard as an A rank hunt and gets harder from there, that will actually fill a hole that SE made with Heaven's Word, where there was no stuff for, like, Nika's Free Company, who can't clear A3 Savage but still wants to do, like, end game stuff,
Yeah.
So I think like this creates, like, that difficulty void where it's going to be hard enough to where it'll challenge them, but easy enough to where they can actually clear it and continue to watch their anime.
My problem is that my group is from all different free companies, so can we even do it together? Like,
it's a good question.
Because I think we have like
according to the release, you should be able to, because it says you can use the Grand Company airships to join other random people that don't have FC airships.
But can I choose who I join though? Like, I don't know. There's like 2 or 3 people in my free company, and then. Yeah, I feel like as a raid group, this would probably be something we'd want to do together, but because we're not all in the same free company, and we probably won't be, because like some of us lead free companies, some of us are in active ones, some of us are in not so active ones. Like, how can we even do this together as a raid group in that sense?
Well, you should be able to queue as a group, just like with every other duty finder. So
I would hope. I mean, can we say one of our white mage leads his free company, and he's actually been doing all his airship stuff like by himself. If we queue up like as a group with him, can we ride his free company's airship?
I don't think the airship has anything like the actual airship is just a mode of transportation. I don't think you're going to get a bonus for how awesome your airship is. I think it's just A to B kind of a thing.
There is, I mean, the mechanic that already exists with the airship is you have to chart new islands to be able to unlock other islands and explore.
You can't go there until you've charted them, right?
Right. That would make sense to me. Like, given what we already have, like, yeah, you would have to chart the area to be able to go there first, right? So if you have Grand Company airships, then maybe you can, that's something that you can do on your own. And because people aren't thinking about it right now and they're not doing it and they don't have all of those areas charted, that will be the advantage given to free companies right out of the gate, that some of their shit will already be charted and they can go right away. And the other people who ignored the system because they were like, it's fucking stupid, it's just ventures.
Or we don't have the money in our free company bank to do it.
Yeah, whatever.
FFCs that don't have a house.
Right.
That's also a
Yeah,
big
there are
thing.
some that don't have a house yet because
There are
there's
a
no
lot.
housing plots.
Right.
Yeah.
So whatever the reason, they don't have a they just basically don't have a leg up on charting these new areas. But who know? There is a lot of question marks here that that doesn't, there's really no clear indication on how it would work. It could work in a lot of different ways, but yeah, it's really all down to speculation at this point.
I'm just so terrified that it's just going to be hunts in the sky,
Yeah,
and
me
they're going
too.
to cater to the otaku and the weeaboos.
I don't want that either. Like, personally, I would like to see some kind of stuff where you can go in and there's 3 more or 2 more gear sets that are actual, in-game gear sets. So you're not like choosing between Gordian and ESO gear for best in slot, where you can have stuff from all over the place to really get the best stats. And I mean, we have glamour, so it doesn't really matter. You can have one complete set look like, but you have the best in slot gear. I'm so tired of it either being this or raid gear or
Well,
the
I
same
think that's
stuff.
what they're trying
And-
to do by making this 210.
Yeah, it does feel like they're trying to add another path of progression.
Although it's random.
Yeah,
it is random, which, I mean, part of me really wants to see more RNG in the game, because for in-game stuff, like, the only RNG you get is drops in dungeons. Otherwise,
Right.
it's like you're buying gear.
Right.
And even now with Savage, like, you get pages, so you're just buying gear. It's still
Yep.
guaranteed.
It's a token system.
And-
It's still doing the same thing. Yeah.
I mean, I would really like to see where you go in and you kill a notorious monster or something. You have no idea what's going to drop, and if you get that super rare piece of gear, that feeling is so much better than, oh man, I got a cap for the week and buy this gear because it's my best in slot. And,
Absolutely.
That is what kills the game. Like, I don't see me or my roommate playing until November, just because there's nothing to do except cap every week.
Absolutely. We've been harping on this for weeks, and again, and I think that this comes down to gear structure and not having that carrot on the end of the stick. There's nothing that outclasses 210. 210 is the absolute highest that you can go. If there was a bit of an, and I agree with you, RNG has its place in this game. You can't have an MMO that's completely RNG-less. And, if you apply RNG in the right places, like I think my suggestion was add a third chest to A4 Savage that, spawns 5% of the time and, drops 1 of 4 body pieces, and there you go. And that body piece is 220, right? It outclasses everything in there. There's an element of randomness to it, and not everyone's going to get it. And you can't just accumulate tokens to be able to assume you're going to get it. That's a status piece. People would see that walking around and go, fuck, what is that?
But see, as a hardcore raider, I'm going to disagree with you on that, simply because that's how it has been forever, because there was no token system in Coil. The best pieces were, like, the Dreadworm pieces were a thing of status, and if you had the Dreadworm bodies and weapons, everyone looked at you and drooled at you.
Yes.
But the thing is that
for a month, for 4 weeks, while it was very rare to be clearing that content.
Yeah.
Once the rest of the community caught up, you saw that shit everywhere.
I still don't agree, though, because there are some groups who are so unlucky that one piece never drops. And
that's not a status piece anymore.
No, it doesn't even matter. It's a piece that you need and you want because it's the best. And if you make it 220, it's the best, and you're going to want it.
No.
So I can even tell you, like, there are some, I think, from T10, we never ever got the slaying necklace. And you know how many times we've cleared T10? Like 100. Never once did that slaying necklace drop for our raid group. And I feel like, the answer to it was tokens, and we're actually praising that as a system.
But again, that's for your 210 gear. That's for the current, whatever the current thing is. I'm talking about for one piece of rare gear that drops a fraction of the time. That's the status gear. It's not taking the body pieces that already drop out of A4 Savage and making them 220. Make a separate fucking body piece that drops 5% of the fucking time.
Yeah, but I still feel like making it a higher eye level, all of the, you're always going to be wanting to get it. And then what if that one piece never drops?
Then you don't get it. And some other lucky motherfucker gets to walk around and you get to watch them and you get to lust after that piece of gear. Because you know what?
I disagree.
Wait.
Gear like that, status gear like that should have to do with your hard work, not RNG. That's where I think the relics should be.
But there is hard work in that. Clearing A4 Savage is hard work.
But you're saying, hang on. No, because I think, no.
And clearing it again and again and again is a challenge. Continuing to clear it is a challenge. Grinding for that piece of gear, that is the challenge.
What you're saying is eventually, in the far future, when everyone catches up and is clearing it and has all the gear, that one piece will still be rare. Yeah, okay, sure.
No, hang on. No. As soon as the next patch hits with forward endgame progression, that piece of gear becomes stat-wise irrelevant because it just becomes another 220 piece in a line that goes up to what, 240, 260 now? It becomes completely irrelevant if you're making gear irrelevant anyway. So for a short time, for that window, for 3.1, you've got one body piece that sits at 220 that everyone on that server fucking lusts after. Everyone wants it. I think that would keep your raid group way more engaged than to say, oh, well, fuck it, we're just going to get 210s out of it. You know what I mean? Like,
for a while, but then eventually once we realize that, RNG's fucking is over, like, hey, we never got the chest, we've cleared A4 Savage 80 times and the chest has never dropped for us.
Yes.
We wouldn't keep doing it because fuck that.
Some people would. You might quit doing it. Some people would keep doing it, but it's not about not getting it. It's about getting it. When you got it, how good would that feel? How much better would that feel than getting the gear that we already get, that we presuppose that we're going to get already? How much more of a reward would that feel like? It would be something to be elated about, and then you could walk around with the biggest dick on the server.
I understand where you're coming from and why some people might like that, but I feel like if a gear is going to be a status item, it should be what the relics are, and they're failing in that aspect. Like it should come from hard work, lots and lots of work on your own, and not RNG.
No, I see. The thing is, though, is that you can't have that level of hard work with gear that's just going to be automatically outclassed in a patch. That's why it has to be relegated to RNG.
No, that's why I think that they've been just doing the relic system incorrectly, and that every single level of the relic should be better than the end game weapon from raiding. It should be, and it should be really fucking hard to get. And that should just be it. Like, it should be so hard and time consuming to get, but it's always better every step of the way.
But again, the normal gear that you get out of Alex Savage, that should be tokenable, right? Like you're building and working towards that. And again, that's whatever it doesn't take that end of the incentive away. It adds in a bonus, a huge surprise if when you get to the end of it. I mean, that's the way that RNG works, Nika. You could do it 80 times and never get that additional 220 body to drop, or you could do it on a rando in the 220 body drops and you get it. That's the luck part of it. I think that's the stuff that interests me about MMOs. That's the stuff that I really like. It gives you something to keep going for.
I just don't think they would do that with a body piece that makes it better. Like they did that with like Crystal Tower with the minions that drop in that random chest. Like I've still never gotten any of those.
Exactly. They do it with worthless shit. They do it with worthless shit, and it motivates a certain number of people, but it doesn't motivate everyone. If they did it with gear and they were smart about it and they said, no, you don't just deserve this gear. No, not everyone's going to get the 220 body and just fucking live with it. I
can't see that working in this game very well. Sit
with it and eat it until you get the next patch, and then you can get a 220 body by spending your tomes.
The only reason my group would ever keep doing it is if the 220 body if there was actually content that made you want to have it. Like if this Sky Island hopping thing isn't, if this Sky Island thing is okay with like I-200 gear and you're okay doing it, no one's gonna want to keep grinding for a 220 body.
I don't think that that's true. I don't think that people get gear. I don't think people lust after gear because it's going to make an encounter easier. I mean, yes, that's the real reason that we grind for gear, but like Think about it, like in terms of from a psychological standpoint, the real reason that we lust after gear and we don't presuppose that it's just going to be part of our arsenal in time is because it's rare, it's hard to get, and you got to work for it. And adding an RNG chest at the end of A4 Savage, boom. That's a way to get it done. And you don't add any additional development time. You just reward players with a reward that they're going to be given anyway in one patch, and you just give it to them early.
I don't know. I just feel like if there's no content that requires the better gear, where's the motivation to keep doing it? Like, I'm not going to keep grinding for a 5% chance chest if there's no reason to have that body piece.
You're probably not going to grind it 80 times if you never see it. Yeah, some people are going to get disheartened and give up.
But I feel like again, putting a minion motivates way more people than maybe body piece.
No.
Especially on something so hard like A4, you're just going to get people like Elysium grinding it, and everyone else isn't going to care.
Yes.
So you're going to cater.
Exactly.
You're going to cater to less than the 1%. You're going to cater to the 3 groups that can clear A4 and leave the rest of us like.
Yes, because it solves a problem, Nika. It doesn't. Just stop. It doesn't.
There's no problem. You're creating a problem to solve.
You're really gonna say that raid participation isn't a problem.
Oh, the only people who are going to do it are the people who are already clearing. That's what I'm saying.
No,
it's not going to motivate people to keep playing.
That's not true. That's not true at all, because there are going to be those groups who clear once and they get that body piece and some motherfucker gets to strut around wearing it. And then but
that's not going to motivate anyone else to keep playing for it.
You're going to tell me you don't see that body piece and that's not going to motivate you to keep grinding for that body piece if it looks fantastic and it's got better stats? Bullshit.
No.
I call bullshit. No, I'm calling bullshit on that, Nika. You would absolutely grind for it. Your group would grind for it. And
I don't think so.
I absolutely do. I absolutely do. I absolutely call that as bullshit on its face. I mean, that is a wonderful incentive.
Considering it's a week lockout anyway, so if we clear it every week, it's not like we have a choice. But regardless, like I can't see once they make it like unlockable or whatever that anyone would care anymore. Like it's only going to be the people who are already clearing who give a shit at all.
People will stop caring as soon as 3.2 comes out or 3.1, whenever that next patch comes out. That's when people will stop caring because they'll be able to spend their ESO tones on a 220 body. What's the difference of giving us a 220 body now in very, very, very low quantities? How is that going to fuck up anything?
Oh, it isn't. I'm just saying you're trying to add motivation for people to care about finishing and doing raids, but I don't think that would give anyone any more motivation.
How?
It would only give more motivation for the people who already have the motivation. It's not going to take people like my group who say, A3 and A4 are hard and we're not making a lot of progress, but oh wait, there's a 5% chance we could get a body. That means we should keep raiding, guys. Absolutely not.
A 5%
if you're burnt
chance
out on the content, that is not going to motivate anyone.
5% chance that will give you a unequivocal stats-based leg up on the content that's coming down the pike. Bullshit. I call bullshit. You would go. You may not continue to grind for it forever, but you would go for it, and you would go for it hard.
I would go for it only if there was a raid that actually required better gear. If there's literally no reason,
there is,
gear, I'm not going to grind for it.
But there is going to be a point, and it's called whatever raid is coming out in the next patch. You're giving people a leg up on the future content. Why else would you give people better gear? Right? Like, that makes sense. You give them one piece of gear that outclasses everything. It acts as an incentive for people to continue clearing, and not just for people to continue clearing and grinding, but for people to get into it in the first fucking place, which was what we identified as the problem coming into this show.
You think that saying there's a 5% chance if you clear A4 is going to make people start raiding who have never cared in the first place?
I think it would
absolutely not.
I think it would get more people into it, and it would keep people there longer.
I don't think so at all.
I do. If you show that you can get an outclass, if there's a status symbol, people will latch onto it because it's a status symbol. It would absolutely work.
I disagree.
I guarantee you it would work.
No.
Based on what?
Just Based on the way that this community is.
Based on what? Like,
people don't want to raid because it's difficult. They're not going to say a 5% chance to have the best item is going to make them want to bash their face into it anymore.
No,
they
some people...
I don't have the time. I don't have the whatever. I just don't feel like doing this. Give me all the gear. They're not going to... That 5% chance is going to motivate no one.
The
people who are raiding... then want to raid are already raiding. There's no way you're going to take a 5% chance at something to convince a whole new slew of people to raid. It's just not going to happen.
I disagree. I totally disagree. Because I think the biggest problem
for the people who are already raiding. The people who are already raiding are going to be the ones that get the status. And the thing is having the 210 gear will be the status for those people anyway. Because it's the people who are already raiding. It's not going to motivate the people who aren't.
Yes, but you're not rewarding the people who are already raiding. You're not properly rewarding the people who are at the bleeding edge and clearing this shit. There's no reason for them to continue clearing it or to put together other groups to clear it or to help other people through it. They get their shit and they get the fuck out of there. But you put another carrot on there and the thing that they could possibly get out of it, I guarantee you it would generate way more interest on a community level for the event. It would. I guarantee it.
There's no way. Okay, I don't think we're going to get any farther in this discussion, but we'll have to agree to disagree here because...
I like Anero's idea, but I think it should be sellable on the auction house.
No, that would take away the status he was trying to convince.
No. It would keep it.
It would reinforce that status.
And then if no one cared about that status, they could sell it for $100 million.
Yeah, right.
So then you're rewarding people who buy Gil. Good job.
You're welcome.
But they're you know what? They're still fucking cheating. You're not really rewarding them. They're cheating more. I mean, a cheater's still a fucking cheater, and they're risking their account by doing that. It's all of these concerns, but someone could cheat. Someone might be able to get it unfairly. Oh, someone will just clear once and then get it, and my static will crush the thing 80 times and never get it. That's fine. That's what'll happen.
But it's the fact that you're saying it's trying to solve the problem of no one wanting to raid. It's not going to. The people who are already raiding are the people who are going to get this. It's going to change nobody's motivation.
So what? You're saying that the people who are raiding now were the exact same people who were raiding in Coil? That there wasn't any drop off at all between people wanting to clear Coil and wanting to clear Alex Savage.
Maybe a little.
No, I'm going to say that there was a significant drop off.
And regardless, having the Alex 4 weapons is status enough. And then you're right. Eventually, people will catch up. Everyone will get it, and then the new patch will drop. You don't need another 5%.
You're
chance.
right.
It's going to motivate no one.
Those are the only status things, but they don't really. Again, it's not something that definitively outclasses everything else and makes it bonerific. It's just not. I mean, it looks good. It's best in slot for a little bit. But you know what? I mean,
They already have those random things that drop for like the really rare furniture or mounts and stuff. And that stuff's
It's all cosmetic. And if it's cosmetic, it's bullshit.
People care about mounts. People care about mounts.
Nah, if it's
if you have the mount from A4 Savage, that is a status icon.
That's missing.
A few people in the entire world that have that.
You're right, but that's missing the point entirely. Where you can't just relegate your status items to stuff that's aesthetic and doesn't matter. You've got to put stats on it. It's got to be gear sometimes.
That's what the community cares about.
It's got to be gear. It has to be gear. At some point, this is going to become a problem that Square Enix can't ignore. It is a serious problem. I don't know how many times we have to keep going over this. It's a serious problem, and they're not addressing it, and it's going to fuck them in the ass. There's tons of ways that we've suggested that they could fix problems like this. But the real, at the end of the day, this just drives home, this is a real fucking problem, guys. This is a real problem with the game that we play and that Square Enix is developing, and they're not fixing it. So what's the answer? I mean, I'm at least trying
sure there's an answer.
I'm at least trying to put forth some ideas here. So what's the answer? I mean, no solution is ever going to be perfect, but they're not doing anything, and failing to act is a response in and of itself. So that's, I think that they could fix it very easily. That's my idea. There's a lot of different ways that they could address it, but you know what? The problem is there. The problem exists. So, all right, next email.
Thank you very much for the call, by the way.
We had a caller there.
Oh, I forgot about that. All right. Nika, this is a super long one. Why don't you take this next one from Marcus?
Oh, goodness. Okay, this is really long. It is from Marcus Ragnar of Sargatanus, he wrote specifically. All right. Hey, LBR, dropping another email since I had a few ideas for Red Mage and Blue Mage and also some other stuff, but let's talk mages first. With Red Mage, I'd like to see a melee range caster with some quick cast spells, or possibly even something like Astrologian's Lightspeed buff that gives instant spells for a short time, like Chain Spell. To pull ideas from a recent Red Mage suggestion thread I found on Reddit, give them stances like Deliverance Defiance for Warrior. One stance boosts magic damage intelligence and has an auto proc every third weapon skill for extra magic damage based on the weapon skill that activated the proc, while the other stance has a similar auto proc system but boosts mind and applies a small point blank AoE heal around the Red Mage, and both stances drain MP, much in the vein of Darkside for Dark Knight. It could be really interesting and fun to watch, to switch up your stance based on the situation in that respect. Shit's going wrong, pop heal stance and see about getting healing procs as fast as you can. Need to deal with a DPS check mechanic or burst down a particularly nasty ad who might rip the tanks a new asshole, damage mode is go. That said, with how bad the whole DPS check situation is in Alex Savage, maybe take a note from your own ideas in the podcast and have these stances instead be buffs with a duration of say 40 seconds with fairly big cooldowns, like 180 seconds and they share a cooldown. Now it becomes a matter of knowing when it's time to crank up the DPS so you can still pop emergency heal mode in case the fight turns sour for the party. Also, let's face it, ain't no mage out there that got swagger like that Red Mage swagger. Haters who say otherwise are wrong and should be fell cleaved. On the subject of Blue Mage, however, I had a personal idea for this, and I don't think I've heard it anywhere else. Tank. Now, before I get stabbed, hear me out. My understanding of Blue Mage, based on what my friend Fatima Undine has told me from their 11 days, was they steal the power from monsters to use, like Kimahri's Lancet ability in FF10. Yep, he was a Blue Mage. So why not take it a step further, even if it's just lore-wise in execution? Have them use abilities and skills that apply status effects and or DOTs to enemies that in turn buff the Blue Mage. The idea of an enfeeblement-based tank sounds really unique to me, plus it'll give us a Disciple of Magic tanking class, and no, summoners using the chicken nugget, I mean Titan Eggy, don't count. It's cute. It'd have to be balanced so there's a benefit to using Blue Mage tank without it being a case of, but why would you take anything else, or suffering from the same, but why would you take one at all issue that Dark Knight had at 3.0 launch. Getting away from the classes now, let's talk gear, because Aniro, bless his salt-encrusted heart, brought up a really good point and reminded me of something SE promised before 3.0 came out. There's no real gear lust aside from maybe wanting something specific for glamour, like the heavy high Allegan coat from T9, to use myself as an example. And SE said there would be more horizontal progression instead of straight vertical progression. What we've got so far is the highest item level gear goes, 2 fucking options, upgraded Esoterics and Alexander Savage. The new relic will give a third option, at least for weapons, provided it's not just straight up better than the upgraded ESO Alex Savage weapons, but that still leaves the players with 2 options for gear, since I doubt the Void Art gear will be above item level 200, which isn't much in the way of choices. Now, if we had 4 to 5 options for gear with potential for gear sets with set bonuses, like the suggested Nin set that gives Armor Crush, the added effect of refreshing DOT timers as its set bonus, or even simply additional stats like the Hunt gear from Grand Companies, that would make things interesting. Sure, you'd still have people saying, oh, well, this combo of gear is the best, or this set is the best and stuff, but not everyone will care about it. Plus, if it's possible to get all of the gear for reasonable amounts of effort, then hey, now you have options, because one set could be your hardcore world first endgame rating set, and another is your casual stuff for when you're carving through random dungeons for tomestones, new relic items, or what the fuck ever it is you want to do. And hey, who doesn't like having options, even if not all of them are put to use by everyone? That's all I've got to say this time around, so keep on keeping on, LBR. You guys kick ass. Marcus Ragnar of Sargatanus. P.S. Kalo's awfully rude for a tiny Lalafell who Nika could punt to Garlemald any day of the week. Disregard this statement if Kalo is no longer a member of the Potato Clan, though Nika could still probably break his legs.
Oh, good email, Marcus. Thank you very much for that email.
And thank you so much for reopening that Pandora's box that is rare gear drops from Aniro.
Yeah, well, this email just supports the fact that, yes, there is a problem. Unlike
the problem here is vertical progression, not the rarity. So what you were suggesting, I'm not trying to get back into this, but what you were suggesting is to make something that's better in terms of eye level, but I feel like the vertical progression is the problem this game has. it's not necessarily the exclusivity so much as like there's no choice.
Well, it's not just that there's no choice, but there is no exclusivity either. I mean, there is in the form of like Alex Savage weapons and the dyed gear and stuff like that. But the way that I see it is that and to address this email too, it does look like we're going to get horizontal progression with the airship expansion, the airship stuff.
Can we just call it Sky from now on?
Yeah,
Sky.
the Sky event
Until we have a name for it.
Since that's going to be plugging out 210 stuff at some point, it does seem like they are actually holding to the horizontal progression method. But my whole point is that rarity and digital exclusivity is a big deal in terms of MMOs, and that's something that is completely and totally ignored. I've actually said that raid gear should outclass the SO gear. Like the raid gear in terms of eye level, stats, everything, it should always outclass the tone gear that you can just buy. Like unequivocally, it should be better. And that would actually drive a lot more people to be involved and to try raids. But Square-Enix has shown that they're not interested in that, and that they want a binary progression system where both ends of your player base are at a relative eye level, at relatively the same eye level. And, fine, if that's the decision that you're going to make for your gear progression, then there should be some kind of, at least for a temporary point in time, be a huge carrot on the stick that is fucking amazing that everyone is trying for. Again, gear lust, activating that whole gear lust thing. And yeah, you can outclass it in a patch or two, but make it a little bit longer of an investment to have that gear stay relevant for a little bit longer than you would like a piece of ESO gear, right? Like I think that that's completely reasonable, and it actually does start to address the problem of incentive in this game, because the incentive is a problem. Unlike apparently PMAC in the chat thinks that it's not a problem and that we're just totally making up things. So hey, there's an email to support the fact that, yeah, you know what, this shit is a problem. It's a real problem. All right, next email. Juxta, do you want to take this one?
Sure, it's a little long, but
it's kind of long.
I got it.
My gosh.
There's all these emails are long, so.
All right.
Hey, LBR hosts. This is Vodric New Moon of the Exodus server. I started listening 2 or 3 weeks before the Salt of the Earth episode and have been a fan ever since.
I want to say that everyone who sends an email for the first time always judges their frame of reference of LBR based on the Salt of Earth episode. I think when before or after or like on it they started listening to us.
Yeah, well, I think I think
AS or BS.
I think that just speaks to how much that episode really resonated within the community. A lot of people heard that show, and when they heard it, they were like, "Oh,
we should listen to this."
This is I think we were expressing a frustration that a lot of players have for this game right now, and when you do that, it ends. That is by far out of the last 10 or dozen episodes that we've done, that's by far our most downloaded episode.
Yeah. All right, so 2 or 3 weeks BS. I'm always busy Sunday, so I can't call in, and since you are faithful to your emailers, I figured this would be just as good option. Very true. I wanted to respond to a few topics in the tinfoil hat episode. That was last week's. I have to say, first, I love the idea that you guys pieced together as to how the Red Mage could operate. I've seen a lot of people defend Summoner and Dark, saying that just because they aren't the exact same as in other installments doesn't mean there's anything wrong with them. I agree with this to a degree. The game can function, and it comes down to a matter of opinion, but for me personally, when you have a job as iconic as many of the jobs in Final Fantasy, it is very important to continue the spirit and general mechanics of that job into later installments. Correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding of Red Mage has always been that it's a fencer at its core, but with white and black magic that makes it a jack of all trades. Very true. Red Mage has always been my favorite job, and it will seriously tweak my nips if they just drop it in as a healer, or if any one of the 3 parts as the Trinity. DPS would be acceptable in the way you described it with the 30-second tank healer stances, but I would also like to see a class so versatile that you can choose what role you're queuing up as in the Duty Finder, although I know that is probably best impossible to balance. I also want cool in-spell mechanic. Obviously, elements don't matter, but it could be something similar to Black Mage, Fire, and Ice buffs. Different enemies give you different bonuses, including refresh, regen, and damage boost. I don't mean to beat off a dead horse.
Beat a dead horse.
He wants to beat off a dead. He wants to beat off. It says right there. I don't mean to beat off a dead horse.
He does say that. It is what it says in the letter.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, don't worry. None of us really want to beat off a dead horse. So
none of us really want to watch you beat off a dead horse either. So.
But I want to bring up Summoner next. I think it was Kyle who agreed with a Summoner supporting email that said Summoner as they are currently, quote, do what Summoners do. I have to disagree, as I don't see how a Poison Mancer can have 2 minions out at a time instead of 1 embodies at all the spirit of a Summoner. Scholars summon fairies, and as much as a Summoner as Poison Mancers are, that 14 brings us. The feel of a job is important, especially in a streamlined game like 14, where classes are very homogenized. I main Dragoon. I realize my opinion has probably just lost validity in your eyes.
Yeah.
Very true. Because of how iconic the spear-wielding, super-jumping, dragon-slaying class is. Even with homogenized classes, when I play Dragoon, it feels like I'm playing a Dragoon. The only difference being that in this community, playing a Dragoon is like being a ginger.
Oh, that's funny. Don't let Escalia catch you saying that playing a Dragoon feels like you're playing a Dragoon, because I think he would take.
Well, he only thinks that because of the Wyvern.
Yeah.
Because he's dumb.
Because he's number 6.
He has a point, though.
No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
No, not Ascalia. This guy has a point.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Yeah, no, that's
a Dragoon feels more like a Dragoon than a Summoner feels like a Summoner.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair. I thought you were saying that Escalia had a point.
No,
and that's never the case. He never has a point. Nope. Okay. Yes, I want bigger, less doll-like summons. I don't want to poison monsters while being followed around by a Garuda plush. I don't mind the idea of a summoner being used in skill form. I don't necessarily need them to follow me around, but I like the idea of summoning Ifrit, my character taking on an ethereal appearance and having it change my skill to Ifrit skills for a short duration. Different summons have different abilities and utilities that are useful in different types of situations. No more spamming Ruin. I've only heard this is the rotation. I haven't played Summoner because it's so unappealing to me in its current state. Make the player think and stay on their toes. I don't care how successful Summoner is in the end game. It's a lame job right now with lame pets and a weird skill set that doesn't seem to fit any theme, let alone Final Fantasy Summoner. People who disagree must place less value on continuity within a job's theme. I have so much more to talk about, like how bummed I am about still a lack of a support role and things I miss in 11, but I'll save that for a later email. I have a feeling this topic might have you guys overwhelmed with emails, especially considering you weren't able to take calls. Love, Vodric. P.S. Don't read this on air.
Don't read it on the air.
Yeah, stop reading. Anyway, thank you very much for the email, Vodric. I totally understand. We talked about this a little bit. Summoner's not really actually feeling like a Summoner from the Final Fantasy lineage. And actually, I was really thinking, like, why is that? And part of it is I think summoners in Final Fantasy games past, when they summon an avatar, it sometimes takes your party away, and that's all you have to fight with is the avatar.
Summon, yeah.
Yeah, or it's this big AoE hit or whatever it is. It's overwhelming. Like using a summon in a Final Fantasy game is not something that you do every single fight. It's not a core
lightly.
Yeah, you don't do it exactly. You don't do it lightly. And the thing about summoners in 14 is that they've got to be, constantly contributing, just like every job in this game has to be constantly contributing to the fight. And so I think it's thematically difficult to work summoner into a game like 14 where you constantly have to be contributing things, and you don't have this ability. You don't have the ability within the rule set of the actual game that you're playing to have these big epic things that happen with either you or your summon.
Right. I thought this guy has a really good idea that I've never thought of before, where you can summon the summon and then your skill set changes so that summon's moves for a certain amount of time.
That is a really good idea.
You can actually make it like, you can still almost leave a summoner the exact way it is, but say like Garuda is the Poison Mancer version or something. So you summon Garuda, your avatar either turns into Garuda or glows green, or you get some kind of Garuda essence, and you start summoning and doing Garuda-y moves, and then once, the boss's phase changes or you're fighting a different boss, you'll switch to Ifrit and then summon Ifrit and start using Ifrit moves. I think you could almost leave summoner identical to the way it is, but just use the summons in place of your character.
So it would almost act like stance dancing.
Yeah, almost. And then instead of it would maybe require a little more animation programming to change your character into the summon or the essence of a summon. But I think it would make the job feel a lot cooler, and it would give you a lot more variety.
I hadn't thought of that. I do think that that's a pretty good idea. Animation lock, though, I could see being a pretty big issue with that.
I feel like this game has too many stances already. I think every class has a stance at this point.
I think summoners Dreadworm's stance was as a step in the right direction. You have to do a bunch of moves, and once you do that, for a certain amount of time, you can go into the Bahamut stance and finish it off with Akmorn, which is pretty cool. But I feel like they should be able to do that with all of the summons. And there were some people who were saying that, they're fine with it being called Summoner as long as it has the ability to summon, which Summoner does, but then this email also brought up the point that Scholar can also summon. So does that make Scholar a summoner? No. What in terms of what you're summoning makes Scholar and Summoner feel drastically different? It doesn't. They're both summoners. One just heals and one attacks. So it's different.
All right. I mean, I don't know. I don't object to the stance dancing idea, especially if certain stances unlock different sets of abilities. I think that has potential, but I don't know. I mean, again,
I don't think Square-Enix can really change Summoner to that degree.
No. I don't think they could.
I think the easiest way, which I've said before on the podcast, is just take your bio, your skill, and make it so you summon an essence of Ifrit, and it's actually now burn or something, and it puts a burn debuff on them. And then take your bio 2 skill and make it Garuda Wind Shear, and now that's, instead of it being bio 2, it's Wind Shear and does a DOT, and it's just exactly the same, but it completely changes the flavor. Instead of putting bio and miasma up, you're summoning the primals and you're putting debuffs on them that way using the essence of the primals.
I like that.
That's not a bad idea at all. Not a bad idea at all.
Okay, here's for FF18, the next MMO. Take this idea into consideration.
You're welcome.
There you go. All right, we're going to take 3 more emails. I want you guys to just kind of pick one for yourself that you want to read. I'm going to go ahead and kick this off. Hello, LBR. Radowski Supreme from Odin here. I couldn't help but notice that you guys go to great lengths to discredit crafting and gathering in FF14.
No, that happens naturally. It's not great lengths.
And I wonder if you realize that is only thanks to So Hated Gathering that you got yourself a new listener. Woohoo! The new favor gathering was so exciting. I really needed something to listen to calm myself down and not start jumping from all that fun. Can you detect the sarcasm there, guys? That being said, I still love crafting in addition to raiding. P.S. Aniro, you should really make a drop out of one of your moments. Also, it would be cool to see how long you can sometimes go on like this. Kahlo and Juxta, one of you needs to change his voice. I listened to you for more than a month, and I am still unable to distinguish between the two of you.
Really?
What? Okay, here's how you distinguish the two of us. I'm the one that sounds like a Muppet.
Or Juxta's the one that shows up more regularly.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Take that, Kahlo. And Nika, you should beat up the guys so that they give you more mic time.
That's not gonna happen.
Sorry if that was too random. You're doing a great job, and it is a pleasure to listen to your show whenever I craft or gather. And I just wanted to take some time and drop you an email. Keep up the good work. Radowski, thank you so much for that email, Radowski. And yes, I do. I have a lot of vocal pauses and vocal stops. It happens. And you know, some people get really bothered by it and annoyed by it. They're like, "Oh, Nero, you're on the radio. How are you always doing the like, how do you have all of these vocal stops that you put into everything?" And the thing is, I'm a really smart guy. My brain's moving a mile a minute, and sometimes my brain moves way faster than my mouth is able to keep up with, and I've got to slow it down and go, "Hey, mouth, let's get this out right." So yeah, that's why that happens, and you know, it just happens to really smart people. And if it doesn't happen to you, I guess you're not as smart as me. So
that must mean I'm really smart.
Yeah, we'll go with really smart, air quotes. Nika, how about you? Let's read your
give
list.
Juxta next. I'm still
Okay, all right, Juxta, why don't you read one?
Okay, I got a very special email.
Okay.
We have, hello, hosts of LBR, A Robert Returns. How goes it? Bahamut Fury of Gilgamesh, now known as Suge-Knight. What? I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce that. Suge-Knight?
Suge-Knight. Do you really not know who Suge-Knight is?
I don't either.
Oh my God.
Is it an anime?
Oh my God, no. No,
Okay.
it's not. No, it's not. Just go.
All right, Suge-Knights of Gilgamesh.
Suge-Knight.
Suge-Knights of Gilgamesh. Just chiming in on your new jobs discussion you guys had last week, and I totes think you got it wrong. JK, nah, but I'm really sure Yoshi P knows what everyone expects Sam to tank, Red Mage to melee heal, and Blue to DPS. But I think it's going to throw a twist on everything. I see Heaven's Ward releasing 4 jobs in a way that Ninja is being released close to the expansion. So I think when 4.0 drops, we will have the release of another 4 jobs. And I think they will play the roles of Red Mage as magic dealing tank, almost like Dark Knight, but with more magic dealing like a Paragon. Paragon from the Rift MMO. I think Sam will be the new melee DPS. Really?
What?
Really?
What?
We're doing a podcast here.
I don't give a shit.
We're professionals.
I don't give a shit.
Terrible. New melee DPS, because honestly, we don't need another 2-handed sword tank. We already have one in another sword class, as well as tanking. And
Yeah, you know, all those people that keep throwing Rune Fencer out there or like even just Fencer as like a magic tank. I don't see another job being thrown in with a sword or a great sword. Katana's different. Nika, don't jump on me for samurai. Katana's different. But yeah, I don't see another sword class at all.
Yeah, the katana is definitely the weapon choice of the weeaboo. So I'm sure people will be bored with seeing that to play as similar to Dark. And Blue Mage, I'm sure, will be the new DPS caster, but I believe Dancer will be introduced as well.
I don't
get this. As a healer, dancing around the party, weaving spells of healing, and being able to throw around some melee healing DPS as well that could heal the party. But hey, that's just my opinion. But I'm pretty sure I'm right, so when it happens, I'll come back to this email and say, damn! I kid. Anyhow, great show last week, and keep up the good work. Suiji Knights of Gilgamesh.
Oh my God.
Out. P.S. Nut is good a nut. Oh, and Juxta's my new favorite. Sorry, Kahlo, but dude's funny, and we had a moment there in Twitch 2 weeks ago after the show where I creamed. So I'm sorry, Kahlo, but your heart will go on.
And you won't even. He's your number one fan, and you won't even pronounce his goddamn name correctly, even after I've corrected you several times.
Okay, well, as soon as
Shug, just so you know, that's the guy that you're throwing your respect at. Which
Okay,
is,
well, just so you know, Suigi Knights, you're in competition with someone who's literally making me an action figure. So, I mean, if you're gonna have to bring something else to the table if you want to be number one Juxta fan, because just remember,
I'm an action figure.
all right, Nika.
Oh, and hi, Nika.
Is this becoming a thing to just say hi, Nika, now at the end
guess.
of the emails, or?
He winked at you.
Yeah.
Winky face.
But yeah, that's not the same guy who did that last time. It was somebody else.
Nika, how about you take our very last email to round out the episode here?
I feel like we've had a lot of summoner, and there's actually a lot of other summoner emails in here. So let's take some Bard QQing.
All right.
He says, hello, LBR crew. Laro Felix of Sarkatan is here, and I wanted to give my 2 cents on Bards QQing about Wanderers and becoming the Bow Mage. I have been playing Bard since 1.0, and after having seen all of the changes they made to this job up until now, I have to say that I like Wanderers, and I think you're a minority here. I don't understand why people are so upset that they can't run and shoot anymore. For one thing, sliding around and shooting off weapon skills has always looked stupid to me.
You look stupid to me.
Why the hell are you running around so much in the first place? In pretty much every encounter I've seen in this game, you can find a place to stand and pew-pew the boss.
This place is boring.
Bard doesn't have any positional abilities like flanking to worry about, so you don't need to be moving anyway. I hardly ever move in a fight unless AoE is in bound or I'm running up closer to the mob to use repelling shot. Maybe I played this way because in 1.0 Bards couldn't run and shoot, or maybe because I had to stand still to use ranged abilities in 11. Who knows? The point is, running and shooting during a fight doesn't occur as much as these screaming crybabies would have you believe. Is it nice to be able to run out of AoE and still attack the boss? Yes, but I always felt like it was ridiculous. How can I even hit something I'm not even looking at? What am I, Robin Hood with my magic arrow? My opinion on the cast time for weapon skills, it's fine. It's just like when drawing and aiming in 1.0 or FF11. The only time I ever have a gripe with it is when I need to spam skills and kill mobs like Fractal's final boss ads. I'm looking at you. In that situation, I just turn Wanderers off, spam abilities and kill them, and immediately throw it back up again. My final gripe, which may be slightly off topic from the email, is for all you bards out there who spam wide volley for AoE kills instead of quick knock. Stop. Just stop. Both skills have the same potency, but Quick Knock uses less TP. If you're spamming wide instead of quick, please reevaluate the way you play. Before you scream Wide Volley affects the recast of Reign of Death, catch up on your patch notes, scrubs. Wide Volley does nothing for Reign of Death anymore. You're just wasting TP. In closing, your show is awesome. Keep up the great work. Congrats on 9 years of FF podcasting, and I look forward to another decade of entertainment. I'm Laura Phoenix of Sargatanis, and I'll keep listening.
Oh, thank you so much, Laura.
Wait, he forgot his PS. He says, Callow is the best thief nin NA.
I don't know about that.
Okay, for starters,
I was with you until then.
For starters, Quick Knock is melee range, and I'm not going to go all the way into melee range as a fucking bard. Tell you that much right now. And secondly, it does not look as cool as Wide Volley. Checkmate.
I mean, I would probably say what in most trash packs that it doesn't really even make that much of a difference, right?
What?
Using the difference, using the two.
Well, it makes a huge difference. Wide Volley looks awesome, and fucking Quick Knock is stupid looking.
No, it's that it uses more TP, so you don't want to use the one that uses more TP when they're the same potency.
Oh no, that doesn't matter. Aesthetic is what matters.
Trash though. Are we really?
It depends on how fast you're pulling, if you're doing speed runs, etc. And this guy has a point.
Whether or not you have a paladin in the party.
Except for when there are times when you have to dodge and things in endgame, and because when you have to move, you're not keeping up with the rest of the DPS, and that's where the QQ is coming from. It is silly that like you can turn around backwards from the mob and shoot an arrow and still hit it.
No, that's badass.
That doesn't make sense. Like, black mages are not allowed to face backwards. You cast and it automatically like turns you. So, and healers too, unless you healers you can turn that off and it still works for some reason. But black mages can't do that. Why can bards do that? I don't know.
Because bards are awesome.
Thematically, it doesn't make sense because there's not. I mean, how many people can move and shoot a bow? I mean,
for starters, Oliver Queen can. And he does it really good.
I don't know who that is.
That's the Green Arrow.
So I think the solution to this, though, would be to change. I
mean, I know it's a skill that people develop.
And keep up with the other DPS and not have to worry about it. Because if you have to move and turn off Wanderers, you instantly fall behind the other DPS, and that's where the QQ comes from. But
For starters, the QQ comes when you have a bard and a machinist in the same party, and the bard is full-timing Army's Payon, and you have a paladin tank, and you're a healer on a white mage and trying to do DPS, and it's just the worst fucking thing ever because everyone sucks at their job and fuck!
Wow.
Whoa.
Jeez.
Yeah, that was a thing a couple days ago.
Wow.
This comes from a place of experience.
I don't think that level of emotion. That's definitely coming from a place of experience.
Okay,
it has to.
For starters, Fractal took a good 40 minutes.
Fuck that, I'm out.
I had to recast.
Are you shitting me?
I had to recast Protect before the final boss.
Oh my god. Wow. Why didn't you bail?
Why didn't I bail?
Because then you have to wait 30 more minutes to do it again.
Yeah, well, if I would have realized that 15 minutes in, that 30 minutes bailing would have been quicker in the long run, yeah, I would have done that.
Yeah. I know it's hard in those situations to really gauge, like, is this really going to be worth my time? I don't know. All right, we have run the show very overtime here today. I want to thank you guys for tuning in at twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio for all your calls today. Again, really interesting stuff between your chat comments and your calls and the emails that you guys sent in. I'm really not that caught up on what happened last week, but thank you guys for listening, even in my absence. I know
very good stuff and important stuff happened last week.
I don't think that
it was the best show ever.
But yeah, no, seriously, thank you guys for staying tuned to Limit Break Radio, and also Juxta and Nika, and even though he's not here, Kahlo too. I do want to thank you guys for continuing to do the show and figuring out how to engineer this thing without access to our normal equipment, and that I have to tell you. That end of it left me very impressed. You guys did a very good job in terms of that side of it. So
it was a trial, but we got that shit done.
Hey, you guys did a great job, and even though I'm never going to listen to the episode, good job, well done.
Really?
Yeah,
it was a really good show.
I'm sure it was, but I'm not.
It was 3 hours without you.
I know. That's the real reason I can't listen to it is because it doesn't have me. That's why I don't listen to any of these other Final Fantasy podcasts unless I'm on it.
Because they don't have you.
They don't have me. That's that's the critical factor for success.
Did you say man crush?
I'll let you know what our download numbers look like from the last episode to this episode.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
What is it?
Is it going to make you?
Well, we don't know. We haven't had.
Yeah, this isn't out yet.
Oh, okay.
I'll let you know in a couple of weeks.
All right, you'll be just make sure.
Hurry up, you number crunching crumb nuncher!
Let us know the numbers.
I'm just giving you guys shit. You guys did a great job, and I'm really thankful that you guys decided to step in and take charge and do that, and it ended up being a really good show. So yeah, seriously, thank you guys for all your hard work. I want to thank everyone who sent an email, even if we didn't get to yours today, or if you called into the show. If you feel like you missed an opportunity to call into the show, it's okay. We're going to be here right at twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio next Sunday talking about all things Final Fantasy XIV. So you'll get your opportunity then. You don't have to, when you call the show, you don't always have to be contributing to the topic at hand. You can change, you can talk about whatever you want to talk about. So know that for the future. And if there was something that you wanted to talk about today but didn't get a chance to, you'll have that opportunity next Sunday when we go live here for episode number 32 on Limit Break Radio. I want to thank Juxtaposition and Nika Kayania, my co-host, for hanging out with me here today. And I also want to, I want to thank our Patreon supporters as well. You guys have been really awesome and patient and supportive. And again, I opened the show explaining what our hardware malfunctions and troubles have been. You guys have been able to provide us a way to troubleshoot those and work through those way faster than many other organizations can, and we really do appreciate that. I mean, at this point, anything that breaks, it's already been bought. I just return it back to the store, and I just got to reassemble it anyway. So it's not like costing additional money to keep doing these rebuilds, and
it's just costing additional sanity.
Yeah, sanity and stress on my part, and stomach stomach lining. So, we really do appreciate the support, and I don't ever want anyone to think that we are cavalier with the funds that you guys give us. We are very, very protective and have a lot of checks and balances as to how exactly the money that we raise through Patreon is used for the show and for equipment and everything else. And so we've developed what we feel is a really strong process behind it to be able to use the money that you guys are so generous in giving to us and use it in a responsible way that always helps the show continue to grow. And that is on you guys. You guys help that happen. You guys help that this product grow and take shape and continue to form. And even if you give $1 at patreon.com, I know it doesn't feel like much. It feels like a pack of gum every month, but it really helps us. It helps us out greatly. And if 10 of you come together with just $1 a month, hey, that's $10 a month. That's fantastic for us. That helps us out so much. And when you help us out, we're able to do things like deliver a show each and every single week here on twitch.tv. We're able to launch new shows like Final Encountercast, which will be a new episode of Final Encountercast will premiere next week on the stream after episode 32 of Limit Break Radio. And you help us stay connected not only to the Final Fantasy XIV community, but the video game community, and plugged in and passionate about things. And I don't know that I'd be as interested in the stuff that I'm interested in right now if it wasn't for you guys, if it wasn't for wanting to know more so that I can bring that to the show to bring to you guys. And I have to thank you for that. It's a symbiotic relationship that we have here between a host and a listener. And I can't tell you how much you guys influence me and the way that I look at the world and the way that I research my information. It's because of you guys. And that's not just your support, that's your listening, that's your emailing, that's your chats in the chat room. It's all of that interaction, the calls that you give to the show. I always learn so much from you guys. So please continue to stay plugged into Limit Break Radio. Please continue to stay engaged. That's what we want here. Even if you can't give, just share it with your friends, call the show, write an email, but interacting and getting involved, that's the best way to help support Limit Break Radio. That's going to do it for us today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in live at twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio. If you're listening on the podcast and you want to listen live, head on over to twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio and hit that follow button. You'll get notifications every single time we go live. Even if it's not for a show, we're just streaming whatever bullshit we feel like, you'll get an email notification for that too. And that's all over at twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio. Visit our website at limitbreakradio.com, facebook.com/Limit Break Radio, at Limit Break Radio on Twitter. And thank you to Juxtaposition and Nika Kayanian for their wonderful guest hosting today. Well, not guest hosting. What the fuck? For their wonderful... Yeah, that's right. We're rewriting the canon. You guys are guests. I'm the only host to this show.
You suck at everything.
No, I'm kidding. Thank you guys for being co-hosts with me. That's the word that I was looking for. And, of course, I'm a Nero. Keep listening. Limit Break Radio is a production of LimitBreakRadio.com and Bender Media Productions. Today's episode was produced by Aniro Grigori and Juxtaposition. Final Fantasy XIV and Eorzea are trademarks of Square-Enix. Funding for Limit Break Radio is provided by Miri Kennett, Scry De La Rosa, Zurian Urexin, Satori Komeji, Karkwin Albarn, Rajan Nelka, and fellow Limit Break Radio listeners. To support Limit Break Radio, visit patreon.com/Limit Break Radio. Opening music in this episode from Daniel Lambie. Listen to Man with the Machine Gun and other great tracks at facebook.com/Daniel Lambie Metal Gamer. Closing music in this episode provided by Husky by the Geek. Listen to this and other great Final Fantasy XIV and video game rock covers and original music at facebook.com/Husky by the Geek. In-game graphics for Limit Break Radio's Twitch stream are provided by Diamond Multimedia. Check out their line of AMD graphics cards and other hardware at diamondmm.com. Limit Break Radio and its hosts are solely responsible for its content.